as you can see right now, this is the front of the Bedminster entrance. And you probably notice there's a whole lot of fun food. And it's all about the grocery prices. The food that we always had all our lives.
Well, guys, we're going to take a look at this press conference by Trump. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's not doing rallies. And these press conferences, it's strange. Lions, what's up, man? How's it going? Ben, what's up? I just think it's weird that how many press conferences do you have to do? I mean, this should be a rally in Pennsylvania or something, man. It is because of the DNC, I guess. What do you think will happen in September sentencing? I think they might try and have him on house arrest, stop him from campaigning. I know, but dude, American people at some point have to understand it's just pure election interference if they do that. That would be even more election interference, honestly, than jailing him. But no, you're right. I thought they were going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that now. They got so messed up when his polling numbers went up after the felony charges. They did not expect his polling numbers to go up, and so now, who knows what happened. You might be right with house arrest. But I think Trump, again, I'm just surprised he's doing these. This is probably just because of the DNC, honestly. It's probably just they're trying to fill the air somehow. They have no rally scheduled, so they're trying to do something to remain. Keep the news cycle going, I guess. But they have... Oh, there it is. There's the lady. No, I think that's someone else. Chris, what's up, man? Wouldn't it make sense to hold rallies during the DNC? No, I mean, it's all the focus is going to be on the... I mean, I don't know what Trump's going to do next week. Maybe try and counter it a little bit. Dude, but the DNC in general, I think it's going to be a complete shit show, honestly. It's probably going to be a shit show. With all the Hamas people. I mean, there was something last night where they were, like, terrorizing... There were Democrats that were speaking, I don't remember where, but I saw a video of it. Way more confident now. I mean, listen, they are messing with all the polls, and they admit it. If they gave him house arrest, they will mess the polls up bad. I don't think they would. What, in Trump's favor? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible they like where they're at, and they're just gonna, because it would give Trump more of a. People feel bad for him if he gets on house arrest, especially with that whole situation. I mean, nobody bought it. Polymarket. Yeah, Polymarket is based off the polls. Where do you think they get... Where do you think people get where they're voting? It's not insiders. Corey Lewandowski, yeah, he hired him. I mean, I guess he wanted someone new. Fuck Trump and fuck you too if you support him. The tolerant left strikes again. I think Trump should have picked Candace Owens. Yeah, that would not... I don't think that would have been good for him trying to get independence. But he still did pick a relatively conservative person with Vance. I mean, at least in terms of the electorate. Jesus, man. All right, I get you want to blow Fuentes. It's enough, man. Jesus Christ. Corey said, "Let Trump be Trump." Yeah, I mean, we'll see if it helps. I mean, they needed to do something, I guess. Trump +5 after sentencing. I mean, are they seriously going to put Trump on house arrest? That's seriously happening? Youngkin would have been the best pick for sure. Well, I mean, dude, again, we're overvaluing how much the VP actually matters. It is what it is. It doesn't matter too much, honestly. But this is what I expected. It was going to take like 20 minutes or so. This is just normally how it is with these campaign events. You're not a leftist, you're a common sense conservative. All right, man. Enjoy your day. What's my ex? Just look in the description, man. Just look in the description. Someone put some serious money down on what? Be careful of the Mpox. Yeah, right. That's the new thing. The monkeypox. How many? No, that's not. They're not gonna. I don't think. I know. There's been people talking about it's gonna be huge, but I don't think so, man. Do you think with Michigan showing Trump up, he's likely to pick up Pennsylvania? Well, I mean, I don't know if there's much relation in terms of that. I think Trump is more likely to win Pennsylvania than Michigan, if that's what you're asking. Probably Wisconsin more than both of them, but I would say Pennsylvania over Michigan. Michigan's probably going to be the hardest, but we're splitting hairs here. If he wins 2, then he's probably going to win the 3rd, you know? I mean, they could split. In 2020, they could have split it easily. They were all so close. It's like 10,000 votes, 20,000 votes, a difference. I would love for Trump to adopt the whisper. Well, you don't want to steal it. You don't want to steal it from Biden. Come on now. Trump needs to emulate Vance's demeanor. Yeah, I mean, he seems to be coming into his own. You know, Vance got a lot of shit. It was more so the timing of Vance coming in and then them switching to Kamala. And then it was mainly a mainstream media brigade. RFK called the rumors of him talking to Harris fake. Yeah, dude, I saw that, but that was really strange because CNN reported like quotes from RFK that he was like, asking to be in the administration. So somebody's lying. I'd be interested to see what happened with that thing because he came out vehemently denied asking to join Kamala's campaign. And then they had like quotes of him saying it in CNN's article. Saying that he wanted to try and join. But that never made sense to me in the first place. They kicked him out. All right, here it is. Let's see what Trump has to say.
Thank you very much.
Maybe an hour or so.
Nice to see you. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about, and we have some very specific things. So we'll take our time. We have plenty of time. I think you have plenty of time. I hope you like the weather. It's very nice. Nice place. Nice location. And I do thank you for being here. And we don't have very much heat, so I'd say it's perfect weather for this.
Trump's going to go 2 hours probably
imminent,
the way he's talking.
Based on the fact that there are no clouds. So it's really nice.
They got
It's
the
really
volume up,
nice.
thank
And,
God.
Let's go over some big facts and some very substantial truths about where we stand as a country, because we're a failing nation because of the way it's been run for the last 3.5 years. We're a failing nation. People are coming into our country by the millions and millions and millions. We have no idea who
Well,
they
if
are,
CNN has
where
a
they
direct
come
quote,
from.
it's a little bit different.
But we're also a failing economy. Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal who broke the economy,
He's dropping
broke the
out.
border, and broke the world.
Who would run,
frankly.
Vance?
very destructive to the entire world, because as we go, oftentimes the world goes. She destroys everything she
purchase your
touches.
coin.
And if she wins, your finances and your country will never recover. You're never going to recover. A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place, which will end up driving up your prices, not down your prices.
What a dumb
Harris
thing that
has
was.
just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it? I hear her complaining all the time. She was the border czar, but she didn't do anything. It's the worst border czar in history. There's never been a border czar so bad. She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness to some of our allies, some of our great allies. You know who I'm talking about. Here is the record of economic calamity
coin
that
looks cool.
Kamala is desperate for voters
I want to get
to
the questions.
ignore.
See how
She
he answers
cast the
them.
tie-breaking votes that caused record inflation. She cast the votes. She's trying to blame Biden, as you know. So it was Biden, but I'm going to do a better job.
Nothing substance.
But it was
Well,
her.
dude, this is not the important part. This
And
is
if
his
she wants
opening
to do a better
spiel. Once
job,
we get
she's
the
still got
questions
5
from the
months
media,
left,
that's when it
right?
gets good.
But she can't do a better job because she doesn't know how to. And she's of a place in life.
But I mean,
where
honestly,
she
he
wouldn't
just
know
did
what
an
a better
hour and a
job
half
is.
last week. What are we really going to
It'll
learn
destroy
here?
our country, and as a result of Kamala's inflation price hikes, they've cost a typical household a total of $28,000. These are numbers coming from government. They're not coming from me. $28,000 she's cost a typical household. Kamala's inflation nightmare continues to cost the average American family $1,100 every single month. $1,100. Again, government numbers. You're paying $148 more a month on food. It's every month. Average family, because Kamala and her ideas, and Joe Biden too, I mention him, but he's sort of gonzo. It all started with the debate. I should have been a little bit easier. Somebody said your debate
he shouldn't have
performance was
agreed to
horrible. I said,
a
why? Because
June
you
debate,
forced him
that's for
out
sure.
of government. But I believe she'll be just as bad. I believe she's maybe in many ways going to be worse, because he wasn't really a radical left, but she is. She's real. He wasn't real. So I think she's going to be, in many ways, easier to beat than Joe Biden. What they did to him was disgraceful, by the way, and it really is a threat to democracy. It was a coup by people
What they
that
did
wanted
to
him
Biden
out.
was
They
illegal.
didn't
He's
do it
right.
not the way they're supposed to do it.
Will Trump win New Mexico now?
$129 more on energy and
The facts he's sharing is important.
$241 more.
Yeah, it is just
This is
good
all per
propaganda, I
month
guess.
on rent.
The
So you
strategy
have that,
here, I think, is they're just waiting for the
129,
DNC. That's why they're
241,
doing these
then
press
many other
conferences. But this is
increases.
strange to
You
do
add
another
it
press
all up,
conference
it's
this early
thousands and thousands of dollars.
after doing an
that
hour and a half last week.
She and he have cost people. The cost of a typical monthly mortgage
No, Jimmy, I
has
agree.
doubled
It's definitely good that he's
since
doing
I
the press
left
conferences.
office, and that number was about 3 months old.
She can't
from
even do press
government,
conferences. She didn't
and
win
now
anything.
it's tripled. We
But she
had
won't do any press
mortgage rates
conferences.
at around 2%,
She's
close
entitled.
to 2%, and they're now at 10%, and you can't get a mortgage. So that means it's a lot higher than 10%.
Should have refused all
I guess
debates.
it is, whatever.
Do you think they-
whatever
I
want
think
to
they
give
still
over
would have
the
tried
money,
to
and that's a
get
lot
him
more
out.
than 10%. So when you think about double, they've actually
I think they would have still gotten
quadrupled or
Biden out
more
if he
than that.
refused all the debates.
Think
What
of
do you
that,
think?
Quadrupled, which really kills the American dream for young people. Young people are being devastated by what they've done to our country. Grocery prices have skyrocketed. Cereals are up 26%. Bread is up 24%. Butter is up 37%.
That's the real
Baby
inflation
formula
number.
is up 30%. Flour is up 38%. And eggs are up 46%. And many items are up at much higher rates than that. Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work. They actually have the exact opposite impact and effect. But it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger, dramatically more inflation. Their Inflation Reduction Act, by the way, was a disaster. It's what caused the inflation. Their Inflation Reduction Act was a con job. They actually admitted that it wasn't really for inflation that they did it. They don't know why they did it, but they named it the Inflation Reduction Act, which was a very nice name. Got approved based on that. Unfortunately, people didn't understand it. I understood it. I said that's going to cause tremendous inflation, and it did, among other things like energy. She's running on the Maduro plan. We call it the Maduro plan, like something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union.
John,
This announcement
I unfortunately
is an
I
admission
agree
that
with
her
you, John.
economic policies have totally
doesn't have to do
failed
anything.
and caused
According to the polls.
really a catastrophe for our country, and beyond that, a catastrophe in the world. A little bit unrelated, but not totally unrelated. We have wars breaking out in the Middle East. We have the horrible war going on with Ukraine and Russia. All these things would have never happened if I was president. Would have never, ever happened. And they didn't happen. Since Harris took office, car insurance is up 55%, and they just announced it's going to be substantially higher than that within the next week. They expect big increases in car insurance. It's out of control, and insurance generally. Thanks to Kamala's war on American energy, electricity prices are up 32%. Gasoline
Thoughts on
prices are up
Kamala's price
50%
control?
and going
I thought
higher.
it was a joke.
Meanwhile, real incomes are down by over $2,000 a year. So
It's the exact same thing they did in
incomes
Venezuela.
for people are down $2,000 on average a year, government numbers. The typical American has seen a 4% pay cut under Kamala and Biden. Crooked Joe Biden. Credit card debt has exploded by 50% under Harris to a record high. It's now at a record high. It's never been anywhere close. Since March, and by the way, people are going to have to start paying that, and it's not going to be a pretty sight for the next period of time. It could be a substantial time. Since March of 2022, the average middle-class household has lost $33,000 in wealth. How about that? $33,000. That's average. In July alone, 350,000 people were added to the unemployment rolls. It's a lot of people. 350,000 people added to the unemployment rolls.
Well, the housing market is
And
out of
think of that.
control.
That's in 1 month. That's
I was
in
just
July.
looking at it here in Ohio.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that, but the government hasn't caught up with that yet. But virtually right now, as of the time they did this, virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. Harris gave work permits and Social Security numbers to more than 3 million illegal immigrants to steal jobs from Americans. So think of that.
She's admitted she wants amnesty for 10 million
They're having a lot of
illegals.
problems with Social Security. I'm going to be the one to save Social Security, but they're having a lot of problems with Social Security because under their system of putting all of these people into it, it's going to blow up and fail. If she's elected, Social Security will fail. It'll be a blow up like you've never seen before. It'll be a bankruptcy of the entire system, probably the nation itself. You don't have to imagine what a Kamala Harris presidency would be because you're living through that nightmare right now, and it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And you're going to stop inflation, but we're going to have a crash, and we're going to have a crash like a 1929 crash if she gets in. You saw a gentleman yesterday who got up, one of the top analysts in the world, frankly, and said that if Trump isn't elected, he predicts, and he's predicting you have a stock market crash like 1929. He also said the only time and the only reason the stock market has gone up, even though it had some bad moments recently, maybe because it looked like the race was going to be a little bit closer, but I think we'll take a substantial lead.
He's
You
right
saw
on
the
that.
polls
The stock
come out
market's
today. We're
gone
leading
down
in
because
most
they
of the
think Kamala's
polls, but
going
you'll
in.
have I have a lot of friends over there. So I don't
Crypto
think they're
went down
reporters,
because
however,
Kamala.
are they? This was supposed to be for reporters. Thank you very much.
Who cares what she said? It's just
Thank
the
you very
machine.
much.
Well, they're all cogs.
When I left office, I handed Kamala and crooked Joe Biden a surging economy with no inflation. The 30-year mortgage rate was around 2%. Gasoline had reached $1.87 a gallon. We actually had many months where it was lower than that, but we hit 187, which was a perfect place, an absolutely beautiful number. Real income surged by more than $4,200 a year when I was president. Harris and Biden blew it all up. And if Kamala wins the election, the worst is yet to come. You'll have a real problem in the future because people don't respect her in the world. People don't respect her in the economy. Economists are laughing. They can't even believe this is happening to our country. And she wants to change a free enterprise type country into a communist type country. That's what she knows. She's considered far more radical than Bernie Sanders. That's all you have to know. Far more radical. And she picked somebody that's far more radical
You should
than
talk about
Bernie
the AI.
Sanders. He approved a bill
I mean, the
recently,
AI admitted
tampons in boys'
she's
bathrooms.
socialist.
He wants tampons in boys' bathrooms. It's terrible. It's terrible. But that's the person that she picked. Surprising pick.
How
to
about
me. I was
Walt's
shocked.
declining
He's
JD
also
Vance's
got one of the
debate?
worst
He only agreed to
run
one debate.
states. Many people are leaving the state, sixth most. And from her state, she destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed, as the
I'm a
Attorney
Russian
General,
agent.
she destroyed California along with Gavin Newsom.
I'm transmitting to
And
Putin.
she, San Francisco, you know, was a great city 15 years ago. Now it's considered almost unlivable. You can't live there.
Aaron, it's
And,
got to be really high.
What they've done to that great state
that-
with
that
the
kid
beautiful
doing all
weather
of
like
that-
this weather. They have this weather all
No,
the time.
I think it's impossible.
And they have the ocean, they have the sun, they have everything good. But what they've done to it is a shame. And she's going to do the same thing to our country. It was the policies. They had a recent article, and I didn't know this, but you're allowed to rob a store as long as it's not more than $950. Has everyone ever heard of that? You can rob a store, and you have these thieves going into stores with calculators calculating how much it is. Because if it's less than $950, they can rob it and not get charged. That was her that did that.
Yeah, he's come up with the new
Harris
scum.
is campaigning on the largest tax increase in American history, including ending the Trump tax cuts, one of the largest tax cuts ever in our country's history.
Cameron,
And
that was a
working with
Halloween
families,
costume.
a gigantic capital gains tax hike they want, and a new wealth confiscation tax. It's called wealth confiscation tax, which isn't going to make all of her supporters, you know, she's got some supporters that are wealthy people because they're stupid people, but they're wealthy people. She said that a 70 to 80% tax rate is, quote, a bold idea that should be discussed and studied. 70 to 80%. She co-sponsored legislation to abolish very popular private health insurance, which 150 Americans rely on, dumping everyone onto inferior socialist government-run healthcare systems with rationing and deadly wait times while massively raising your taxes. She wants to take away your private healthcare. There are many people in this country who spend a lot of money on private healthcare. It's the best healthcare in the world, by the way. But they want to do it. They worked hard to make money, and they want to do it. Under her, you're not going to have private health care plans anymore. And you can be a wealthy person or a middle-income person, and you want to spend on a really good plan, better than a government plan could be, far better. And you're not going to be allowed. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system. You're going to be thrown
They
into a
want
system
Canada 2.0 with
where
healthcare.
everybody gets health care. It's you
They have
wait
no good
for your
doctors in
doctor
Canada.
like 10 months, 12 months, 11 months. You got to see some of these plans, how they work in other countries. It's disgraceful. So private health care is gone. She wants it out. Now, she could change on that, and she might change on that. She's changed on everything, but I said, why are you changing? I actually was asking somebody that knows her, why is she changing? She had these policies and ideas for years and years and years and very solid on them. All you have to do is go back and look
You
at
heard
your
Kamala
tapes,
rallies,
which many
they
have
cut
been
and paste
discarded
people in empty
because they
spaces.
don't want discarded by
Well,
the
they've admitted they
fake
edit the
news
photos with filters.
because they
and
don't want people to see what she said just
curtain
a
out
year
sections
ago
that are
and 2
empty.
years ago. I've never seen anything like it. Even my statement on waiters, waitresses, caddies, a lot of great people, people that drive cars, no tax on tips. All of a sudden, out of the blue, she comes out. That was months ago I said that. And she came out and she said, no tax on tips. She could have at least said, you know, President Trump had some great ideas, but one of the ideas
She
was
should have
no
never
tax
said
on
that. That
tips. I
was
think it would have been nice,
embarrassing.
and people would have accepted that. But she just came out like it was hers, and she never had her. In fact, just the opposite. The IRS is all set up to really go after people that make tips. And they passed legislation and signed executive orders making it really hard on waiters, waitresses, and that was very recently.
She did
That
a
was
180.
just before I made the proposal. They were really going after people. So they're lying when they say that, this is what they want to do, because their legislation, which everyone knows, and their executive orders were extremely tough. They also put 88,000 new IRS agents in that can go and harass everybody. She wants to close dozens of existing power plants, causing rollbacks of power in our country. You're going to have brownouts, blackouts, the likes of which you've never seen, and plunging millions and millions of people
Daniel,
into
I don't know who
poverty. That's gonna
DDoSed
put them
that.
into poverty.
I mean,
They're not
it was
gonna have
such
heat. They're
an
not gonna
obvious
have air
target, though.
conditioning.
Like,
She wants
on
to
Twitter
close
Spaces,
dozens of existing power plants, so maybe she'll change that too. But she's got a lot to change. Almost everything she's ever said, she's got to change. Nobody's ever seen, and that's why we're here. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. She wants to abolish coal, oil, and natural gas, 84% of U.S. energy supply. And it's the coal and the natural gas, clean coal, I call it, and oil, natural gas that create electricity. And by the way, I'm a big fan of electricity. If we're going to go with the AI, if we're going to do that, I don't know if you know, but we need twice the amount of electricity currently supplied for everything to the entire United States of America. So to be competitive on AI, I was talking to Elon Musk. We had a great discussion the other night. I agree. And he said a big problem is getting the approvals to create all of that energy, all of that electricity, specifically electricity, and you're going to need that for other forms of modern business too. And I'll get it done, but other people aren't going to get it done. They're not going to be able to get it done. As border czar, and she was
They're
the border
scared of
czar.
Musk
She was.
because of how
I don't
powerful
know if
he
she
is
was
with the
proudly
money.
called border czar, but that's what Crooked Joe Biden called her. She's the border czar. Everybody said it.
How about the UK
And then about 2
threatening
weeks ago,
Musk
she didn't
to
want to be
extradite
called the
him?
border czar anymore. She said, "Oh, I was never the border czar." It doesn't matter. She was the person responsible for the border, and she never went there. She went to a certain location once, but I would have gone there and taken my family to dinner there. That was not a place that is going to the border, a place with no problem. As border czar, she allowed 20 million people, and I believe it's higher than that. People say 13, 14, 12, 10, but now they're all up to around 12, 13, 14. They have no idea because you have millions and millions of what they call gotaways.
They admitted it's like 15.
Gotaways are people that pour into our country. We have no idea who they are. That's the worst of all. But she allowed at least 20 million people to invade our country, and she wants to give them all citizenship and free government health care and let them raid Medicare and Social Security, which will, again, she
Tom,
will
it's 'cause
destroy
of how powerful
Medicare,
he
she will
is.
destroy Social Security.
You could make an argument
And
he's the most
frankly,
powerful
there's nothing she
person.
can do about it once this happens.
Like,
There's
at least in
nothing
the
she
United
can do
States.
about it. She called for abolishing ICE. These are great patriots who are tough, tougher than anybody in this audience. Some of those people, I know them over there. Some of those men and a couple of the women, to be honest. They're tough as hell, but they don't want to fight MS-13. I've seen it. They go in. Long Island had a lot. We got them out. But now they're coming back because of weak policy and because of things that she wants to do, like defund the police. You know she wants to defund the police. Now, she has since said, no, I don't want to do that anymore. The one thing I see with politicians, they always go back to
This
where
is
they were.
more of
She
a
wanted
rally, it
to
seems like.
defund the police. And
This is
she
a long
wanted to
statement.
abolish ICE. I was going to say, though, these ICE people are incredible patriots. They're tough as hell. And they go into a pack of MS-13 gang members, the toughest in the world, probably the toughest gangs in the world. They come from different parts of South America, and they want to come in and in Long Island, not too recently, but recently, they carved up with a knife 2 beautiful 16-year-old girls who were walking to school. And the reason they used a knife instead of shooting them was very simple, because it's more painful. They wanted to watch them agonize. And these are animals, and we have to get them out of our country, or we have to put them in jail because we don't want them back. Sometimes you have to put them in jail because their country doesn't want them back.
Prosecutor
They'll send
wants
them
to
back
defund the
way they
police.
do. Just
Well,
so
in
you know, I know
2020,
all
she
of the
certainly
people that
supported
we're dealing with
efforts to
as the heads of
have a less
countries.
police presence.
And they're very smart.
That's undeniable.
They're very streetwise. And what they're doing is they're taking all of their criminals, and they haven't brought all of them yet. They brought a lot of them, though. but they'll bring all of them. I'm shocked it's taken so long. If I were in their country, it
He
would
wants
have
to
gotten a lot
deport half
faster.
the
I will
farm
tell you that.
workers.
I would have gotten that too. And they're
Dude,
bringing
that's
them
such a
into the United
tired
States.
bullshit
They're taking
line.
their
The
drug
idea that
dealers
we can't
and
survive
their
without
rapists,
illegals.
murderers, and every criminal, bringing them into the United States, and their crime rates are way down. They're bringing people from mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States, and their population for the mentally ill is way down. They're in the United States. They're dumping them in the United States. They're driving them through a border that's totally open. We stopped them. We didn't let it happen. And when I first came into office, you know the story that President Obama at the time had no way of getting them back. And I said, I want to get all of the MS-13 in particular out of our country, bring them back to where they came from. A general said, sir, that won't be possible. Why? Because they blocked the airports, they blocked the roads, they blocked everything. You can't do it. I said, so they're making a concerted effort? Yes, sir, they're making a concerted effort. We can't do it. They put planes on the runway so we can't land the planes, sir. And the same thing with the roads. They block up the roads. So if we have buses coming in, they block up the roads. They're totally blocked, and they're terrible. It's been that way for years, sir, all the way back to Bush. It's been that way for years. And I said, well, how much do we pay them in terms of economic development and aid? Sir, we pay them $750 million. I said, that's okay. Call them immediately and tell them we're not paying them anymore. And the following morning, I got a call from the three main culprits. Sir, I'd like to speak to you because I don't understand what the problem is. I said, well, you've sent us gang members, and they send them. Remember that. They send them. They said, you send us gang members, you send us killers, and you send us drug dealers, and you send us horrible people, and when we want to bring them back to your country, you won't accept them. And that's under President Obama and all the way through. And therefore, you're in default.
When is he going to talk about the future?
Are,
He's just using this as
total
propaganda
default of the money
against
that we
their
send
administration.
You. And
He's
we're not
using
going to
the
send you the money
press
anymore.
conference.
You're not getting any of the $750 million and more. We're not giving you any. You are delinquent. You are delinquent in what you've done. And you're not getting, sir, please, can we talk? I said, yeah, we can talk. What? We would absolutely love to have MS-13 sent back to our country. We think they're wonderful people. They're not wonderful people. They're wonderful killers. But they changed their tune totally. When I said they weren't going to get the money, I don't know why these people don't do it.
Trump's speeches have become so boring
the
and repetitive.
$750 million
Well, I thought this
now
was going
is
to be questions.
billions
I
of
think we're
dollars
going to the
because Biden
questions.
increased it very substantially. He thinks by sending them money, they're going to send fewer people into our country. How stupid is that? So they're giving them $2.5–3 billion. The $750.
He's starting to ramble on a bit.
Not only
I'll be
did he
honest.
give it, I didn't even pay after they made the call because I said, you know, you've treated us badly for so many years. We're not going to pay you it anyway. But now they're giving them billions of dollars, billions, much more than when I took over. It was 750. Now they're giving them billions. But they said, there must be an understanding, sir. We would love to take them back. And I said, well, you're going to get them back. And we started bringing them back by the thousands out of Long Island, out of Michigan, out of Ohio, by the thousands. And she compared ICE agents, these brave people, to the KKK. She said, the ICE people, the ICE agents, I compare them to the KKK. Well, they don't really, because, you know, when you go into like Long Island, like Ohio,
she said
like
some
Michigan,
crazy
we
stuff.
have a lot of them. And you see these men, in most
Because she
cases,
could say it being in
men,
California.
the agents,
Now
get
she's
out
got to
of a
denounce all
van
of it.
and walk into, they call it a pack. It's a pack, not like a political pack, slightly different. Even nastier, hard to believe, right? But they would go into a pack of these killers, and all you do, I've seen it so many times, all you do is see fists and feet and hands and fighting. And 2 minutes later, they stand up and they walk out. They have them by the feet. They walk them out, or they drag them out, mostly drag them out, put them in paddy wagons, and they bring them back to their country. They take them back to the country, and the country is open arms now, open arms. And it's an amazing thing. For her to say KKK is
Less
very
substance,
unfair,
more vibe.
but she doesn't know. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to know. She's a very strong communist lean. She wants to end detention of illegal alien migrants, releasing vicious monsters into our communities to rape, maim, and murder our population.
Harris looked
She endorsed
drunk
defunding
today.
the
I
police
didn't
and
see
no
it.
cash bail nationwide. She was the original no funder.
I thought
And
she
the
didn't
only
have a
thing
rally
Kamala
today.
Harris can deliver is horrific inflation, massive crime, and the death of the American dream. She is in favor of the death of the American dream because everything she does really stops. Any one of these items stops the American dream. We want our youth to go back and dream of being successful, someday being really successful and employing lots of people, and you can't get up early enough. I gave up that life for a life of politics. I gave up all of these beautiful places that I have all over the world for a life of being abused by the fake news media.
I mean, that is true.
And yet I would do it again. Somebody asked me the other day,
They wouldn't
would
be
you do it
prosecuting
again?
him
I
at
said,
all.
absolutely. Why would you do it? Why would you put yourself through? They go after you. They weaponize government. You have to deal with crooked judges that are after you and crooked prosecutors. And the New York court system is vicious and totally biased and, frankly, totally crooked. Why would you put yourself through? I said, because we're going to make America great again. That's what we're going to do. And it's very important. So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. We will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. That's going to bring down prices of everything because energy brought it up. When they went away from my policy, they quickly went back to it, but by that time it was too late. They lost control. But they've gone back to it, and if they win the day after the victory, they'll stop with all the drilling.
You gotta
But they
see
went
the
back to
videos
it
from
because
Joe
prices were going
Biden.
through the roof. They
He
were
was
going
there.
really bad. And that's what caused our inflation, and that's what destroyed the lives of many Americans. We're going to reduce energy and electricity prices. I will. By at least half within a 12-month period, we'll be able to reduce prices between regulation and having a tremendous supply, which we have. I always say we have more liquid gold under our feet, more than any other nation
I think he's
anywhere
gonna
in the
take
world,
questions
including
here.
Saudi Arabia and including Russia. We're going to terminate the Green New Scam. It's called the Green New Deal. It's a scam. And rescind
John,
all
there's no way you're that gullible.
unspent funds. We're going to
If
rescind
he wasn't
that
in
and pay
politics,
off
he wouldn't be
debt.
facing a single thing.
And we're going to reduce debt. We took almost $10 trillion for nonsense, for absolute nonsense. We'll do bridges, we'll do roads, we'll do things that we need, but we're not going to be spending it or wasting it stupidly and have China laugh at us. I remember when, just a short while ago, Kerry goes, hops in his private plane, flies to China to talk about the energy prices and the energy situation in China with President Xi, who I know very well. Had a very good relationship until COVID came in, but that was a fence too far. But we had a great relationship, and Kerry would go up there, and he'd leave so happy. But they don't do anything. They just talk. They said, "Oh yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, as soon as we get to it." In the meantime, they're building a coal plant every week. But now I hear it's 2 coal plants a week, and we're dying for energy. We don't have energy, and they're getting set for the AI because they're going to create so much electricity. And we're not going to be able to do it, but you'll do it if I have it, because that's an emergency. We have to be able to compete with China and other countries that are able to create new energy if they want to, and they're going to want to, and they do want to. But they're building at least 1 coal plant a week. Germany, as you know, went a little bit like us, and that was the end of Angela.
Yeah,
because their
J.D.
whole
Vance tried to get
economy
Walsh to
crashed.
do another debate. He
And their
declined
new
it.
government is building coal plants all over the place. They're building brand new coal plants, nuclear plants, and other things because Germany was going to fail. So why are we following these countries that tried it and failed? And they're smart countries. They tried it, they failed. Why are we doing this? Why aren't we creating great energy plants, great sources of
both
energy,
parties have changed,
instead of
but you are right,
playing
Thunder.
this game
You
with
are right.
wind that is ruining everything, killing all your birds, destroying the fields, all these gorgeous fields. You got windmills all over the place, and you have birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Just go under a windmill. You see thousands of birds dead. The bald eagle, if you kill an eagle, they put you in jail for years. And yet these windmills knock them out like nothing. And nothing happens to the people. Now, it's a green scam. It's a shame.
The windmills
I'm all
are
for
pretty
clean
useless.
energy. I
Solar
want
panels
clean
are
water,
better.
I want clean air. But you can't destroy your country over it. You just can't do that. We want to stop wasteful spending and big government special interest giveaways. You have giveaways. You have some of these people that are giving. Look, they're not giving millions and millions of dollars to
I ordered this.
politicians
This is a big
because
book here.
they like their policy. They're giving it because they made deals. They're going to take over lots of different things in our country. They're going to build windmills as an example. They're going to build big solar fields.
Waltz and
that
Vance
take up
agreed
half
to a
the
debate
desert.
on CBS.
Massive solar fields.
On-
And I'm a
on
big fan
October
of solar,
1st.
but it can't
But
fire
Vance
up
wanted to
plants.
do
It's
another
not gonna
one, and
fire up
Waltz
plants.
said,
Fire
"No,
up those
I'm
plants.
scared."
We got to get them going. And the only thing that can do that is fossil fuel right now. And the only thing that can make electricity, which we all want, is right now fossil fuel and nuclear. And nuclear has its place, a very big place in our country, very big place. China's going with nuclear. France has been going with nuclear for many years. We want to end the Biden-Harris electrical vehicle mandate. We have to get rid of the electric
Trump's like 6'2"
vehicle
and a half.
mandate. And look,
I
Elon
mean, they
endorsed
measured
me
it
strongly,
at the
the most
jail.
powerful endorsement. He said it 3 or 4 times the other night during our little chat, but a chat that was very well listened to and attended. We know that, right? It broke every single record, I think, in history. And he's a great guy. But I told him,
I wonder
said,
if they'll
you know,
do
I have
another
one problem. I'm all
space.
for the electric car, but it's a very small percentage. I think the electric car is incredible. I think what you've done is incredible. But people are going to want, some people are going to want gasoline-propelled cars. They're going to want hybrids. They're going to want other types of cars. And Elon, you know, they're going to have to do that. And he understands that fully. And I think he was amazed by this electric vehicle mandate. They want it for trucks, too. If you do it for trucks, you're not going to have any. You talk about a supply chain problem. A truck going from New York to Los Angeles, if it's electric,
There is going to be
will have
electric
to
cars
stop
when you
6
force
times
people
for
to have
long
electric
periods of
cars. That's
time.
the issue.
If you have diesel fuel, it goes all the way, and you can even come a piece of the way back before you have to reload. And with diesel, the truck gets lighter because you're using up the fuel. With the electric, it stays at a heavy weight. An electric truck is 2.5 times heavier than what we would call our traditional trucks. And a man from a company said to me, you know, sir, I've been buying
Hold, I
trucks
agree with you.
for 50
Hold.
years. I've
This
been
was
buying
supposed
them,
to be
and
a press
every single
conference.
year they got better
And you can
bigger
understand
and
doing a
stronger
15-minute spiel.
and more powerful. And
This is
more
like 45
efficient, more
minutes, 40 minutes now.
fuel efficient. And now we
Time to
build
move on to
apartments
questions.
in the
Yeah.
truck, sir.
No, I agree.
And you would be proud to stay in those
But it's been a
apartments.
ramble
And then I
sesh
say,
for
I don't
13
know if I
minutes.
would. But I know exactly what he meant. Those big, he said, it's
Let's
incredible,
get to the
trucks.
questions.
I said, who builds the best truck? He didn't tell me. He said, they all do. You have 4 companies, 5 companies. They all do, sir. They build great ones. He said, but for 50 years, they got better. Every year, I started off with 1 truck. I said, how many trucks do you have now? 27,000. I said, 27,000, and all big ones. He's the biggest. This is the biggest. He said, for 50 years I've been buying, and every single year they got better, more efficient, stronger. He said, if they make
Trump
us
could do
buy
15-minute
electric
speech
trucks,
if
we
people
will
say
go
they need
back
to do.
70
Well, this isn't supposed to be a
years
speech.
because
He's
the
just
truck
doing
is
this at the
worse than
beginning,
the
and
one
then
we had
it's supposed to
50
be a
years
press
ago.
conference where the press
And he
asks
said,
questions.
I won't partake in it. They want people, they want the truckers, the trucking industry to do that. One other thing, the truck is heavier, and the battery is much larger than the tanks.
It's a
And
Trump
the
rally.
battery would take up
Well, he's
about half
treating
of
it
the
like that
payload.
here at the
Think of
start,
that.
but he's going to take
But
questions.
just as importantly, the battery and all that goes into electric is much heavier. The truck it weighs 2.5 times more than a normal truck fired up by diesel. And
It's for sound bites.
he said, if that's
Yeah,
the
but I
case,
mean, if you're
sir,
going to do that, do it at a
you would have
rally
to
with people
rebuild
cheering you
every
on.
single bridge and road in America because the weight is so enormous. It wouldn't be able to go on the bridges and all of the different
What do you think about
weight-bearing
the
roads
situation
in
with Trump
America.
telling Waltz?
I said,
he
did you
approved
explain
of
this
his
to
act-
the people?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you know, a 5-year-old
I think I
child,
did
if
see
he was
something
hearing
on
these
that
things, it doesn't
where
go
Trump
far.
called Waltz.
It takes
and
too much room.
He didn't know
you
the
don't
full
have any
story
room
or
left
something.
for anything. It's
I don't know,
almost
man.
the
I'll
whole
have,
thing
I'll have
would
to
be
look into
carrying
that,
a
but
battery.
I did
Does
hear that,
anybody
yeah.
explain
And it
this
was
to
not a
these
good look
people?
for
We
Trump.
do explain it. They
if
know
that
it
is the
very
case.
well. At the end of the meeting, they say, we don't care. Just start making your electric truck. We're not going to do it.
I'm surprised
We're not
liberals,
gonna
maybe
do
they
it, he
have, I just
said.
haven't seen it.
So we're
Surprised
going
they
to
haven't
repeal
used that
all
more.
that. We're going to repeal Kamala's regulatory onslaught, saving households an estimated $5,000 a year at a minimum. The massive tax cuts and no tax on tips. We're going to make sure it gets done. She's not going to get it done. She didn't hear about it until I said
They
it.
wanted
and
the
then she went
opposite of
out
no
and
tax
she
on
went and
tips.
did it. And
That's how
the other
ridiculous
thing,
it
no
all
tax
is.
on Social Security. We're not going to have
They were
seniors
pissed
who
at
have
the
been
waiters. They
decimated
weren't
by
writing them all down.
inflation pay tax on Social Security, and we'll get through it through growth. We have tremendous growth potential in this country, but not with these people running it, because all they're going to do is take away, and they want to take away your growth and your growth potential. Again, I say it all the time, we're a nation in decline. We're a failing nation. Right now, we're a failing nation, and we're going to soon be a great nation again. That's going to happen.
Talking for 10 minutes about electric cars.
Another thing we're going to do.
He talked about electric trucks,
too. A lot of reasons, a lot of things, and the economy in particular.
I know he doesn't. You can tell he does enjoy it.
We're going to stop the invasion. We're going to send the illegal aliens back home. We're going to bring down the cost of health care.
What is that? Is that coffee beans?
We're going to make sure that Social Security is not going to be increased in terms of years, where people have to wait much longer. I mean, we have an obligation to take care of these people. And just so you know, I didn't do it in 4 years. I never even thought about doing it in 4 years. And they probably don't want to do it, but they're going to have no choice. They're going to have no
Trump
choice.
down one.
Because a lot of the people that are coming in
just a head-to-head.
are being signed into Medicare. They're being signed into Social Security. And it's just going to explode. And it's going to happen very fast, and it's going to be very ugly. It's not going to happen with us. We're going to open up tracts of federal land for housing construction. We desperately need housing for people who can't afford what's going on now. And when we open it up and we take off some of the restrictions and regulations, you know, in California, 50% the cost of a house is regulations. They have to adhere to regulations that bring the cost of the house up by 50%. We're going to bring back our supply chains to stop costly supply chain disruptions. We have tremendous disruptions. I have it all the time, and I think you do too. We order things, and I keep saying, well, when's it getting here? Sir, there's a supply chain disruption. And, I mean, you end up getting stuff like 3 months late now. I don't know, all these geniuses over here, I think we can say that. I'm not sure that you're necessarily as much into it, but they are.
Yeah, John is
a
lib.
Often,
but, dude,
often,
I mean, honestly, he's not trolling.
We have problems with supply chains where
as long as he doesn't spam
I'm waiting
and troll,
for
it's
things
fine.
for weeks and weeks, and I say, by the way, whatever happened to it? Supply chain, sir, it's not coming in. And it's a terrible thing. Nobody ever thought a thing like that would happen to our country. We're going to restore peace and stability all throughout the world. And you all know Viktor Orban. He's the prime minister of Hungary and a very tough man. He's a good man, but he's a tough man. And they asked him, what do we need to stop all of the wars with Israel? What do we need to stop the wars in Russia
the polls
and Ukraine
are a mess.
and all the other wars that have started?
The polls are a mess right now, man.
He said, when President Trump was here, we had no wars. We didn't have Russia lining up at the borders to go and attack Ukraine. We would have never had Hamas, because Hamas had no money, because Iran had no money. I said to China and everybody else, if you buy from Iran, you can't do business in the United States. And I'm not looking to be bad to Iran. We're going to be friendly, I hope, with Iran. Maybe, but maybe not. But we're going to be friendly. I hope we're going to be friendly. But they can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Please, not again.
And we were all set to make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. Because
East,
once they do, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different negotiation. But Viktor Orban said, if you put Trump in,
they're really pushing Iran as the enemy.
Nothing's going to happen. Everyone's going to be peaceful, because they were afraid of Trump. Now, I don't like saying that I said that. I would say maybe they respected Trump. But he said they were afraid of Trump. They didn't know where he was coming from, and they were really afraid of him.
Yeah, it's clear he's using this as like a rally.
They're not afraid of these people.
That's like 20 minutes ago.
And being afraid isn't so bad, but I would say more importantly, they respected me. But he didn't use that word. He said they were afraid of Trump. And we would have not had any problems with China and Taiwan. We wouldn't have had any problems with Ukraine and Russia. We wouldn't have any problems with anything. But we will stop inflation. We will make America affordable again. And we're going to bring back the American dream. We have all these young people.
He needs to take questions and hold Kamala. Well, I mean, she needs to take questions. That's the funny thing. But no, you're right. He needs to wrap it up.
They don't even think about the American dream. Right now, they just think about survival. And I just want to end by saying we have tremendous potential in this country. We can do amazing things, and we can do them fast. We have to get the criminals out. We have to get them out immediately and fast and tough. We're going to rely on our local police. Our local police law enforcement has been so
It's a rally, but with press.
And they know. Somebody said, how
yeah, they're like in between on what they want to do right now. It's because the DNC is coming up, I think.
Serial number and middle name and last name and where they come from of every single bad guy that's come into our country. And we're going to rely on local police, and we're going to make sure that They have immunity from prosecution because, frankly, our police are treated horribly. They're not allowed to do their job. You know that better than anybody. They're not allowed to do their job. If they were allowed to do their job, we wouldn't have cities that have crime rates. You look at Chicago. On the 4th of July weekend in Chicago, think of this. 117 people were shot and 17 died. Afghanistan isn't anything like that. And speaking of Afghanistan,
It's so out of control, they just can't control it in
most
Chicago.
embarrassing
It's too out of
day
control.
in the history of our country. And yesterday I saw they gave $85 billion worth of brand new military equipment that I rebuilt the military. So this was equipment that, to a large extent, I
Yeah, but
bought.
I mean, at a certain point, it's
But
like
brand new, and
you-
they had
you
a parade
ramble,
yesterday, a beautiful parade. We were going to get out with dignity and strength. We were there for 21 years, and we were going to keep Bagram because it's 1 hour away. Bagram is this massive Air Force base that I visited. It's a massive base, and we were going to keep it because it's 1 hour, not because of Afghanistan, but because it's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. And they were showing it off yesterday, but the fact is that China now controls Bagram. China, can you imagine that? And we left. We were going to stay there. We were going to keep it. We were going to get out with dignity, strength. We were going to take our soldiers out last, not first. We took our soldiers out first. I dealt with Abdul, and he's still the leader. Strong man, smart man, but he understood
Their
that if he
campaign's
did
just in
anything,
between on
because
what they
we
wanna
were
do
losing
right now,
a
it
lot of
feels like.
people to the snipers. And under Obama, it was terrible. It was brutal. They'd be walking around and just get shot, and that was the end of them. Our people, and other people too, civilians. And I let them know that if you do that, we're going to hit you so hard like you've never been hit before. But why, he said, do you send me a picture of my home? Why? Why do you send me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to figure that one out later.
why is he in New
But I
Jersey?
said, we're going to have to
I
hit
actually
you
don't
people
know.
so hard like we've never hit anybody.
I don't know why he's in
And
New
he
Jersey.
understood, and he said, yes, Your Excellency.
I mean, he could do this
understand. He called
anywhere.
me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls that to Biden. I doubt it, right? But he understood that, and he respected us. And for 18 months, not one American soldier was killed. Not one. And then I left because of an election where I got millions of more votes than we did in 2016. We got millions of more, from 10 to 12 million votes more. Think of that. No president has ever gone with that kind of an election uptick. Usually a president will get less. President Obama got less, much less, his second time, but he won. But he got much less. We got 10 to 12 million votes more, and that's not including other votes that we
Talk about Hunter
can talk
Biden
about
laptop.
it another day. But this is their votes, 10 to 12 million more. And we left, and that's when all the problems started. We didn't have these problems. We would have never had a problem with Abdul. We would have never had a problem with anybody, frankly. And
Playing like he's
I'd have
20
to
points
say,
ahead.
You're looking
when
at
he
things behind
should be 10
you.
points
They
down.
did a nice job.
You're talking about the lack of rallies. I
haven't gotten-
agree.
See, that's good. I don't like the tags very much. Look at that. Up 46% eggs. Wow. Up 65%. Wow. School lunches up 65%. How can a family afford that? But look at this over here. What a nice job. I think I'm going to take some of them back to my cottage and have a lot of fun. Like the Cheerios. I haven't seen Cheerios in a long time. I'm going to take them back with me. Bacon is through the roof. They're
He's
all
got
through the
food
roof.
set
The
up.
milk, everything is bad. And we're
Trying
going
to illustrate
We're
inflation.
going to bring prices way down, and we get it done fast. And with her, it's just talk. She's a radical left San Francisco person who destroyed the place. And I don't know. It's hard to believe that she can even be in the discussion. They had a group of 12 people that she was considering, and they put her name in there, and they marked them, who were the best and who were the worst. And she was actually rated the worst of the 12. They had 12 plus her, 13 people. And they
Watching
rated
this
her
from
the
the
worst.
beginning on 2X.
Now,
Well, he's been talking
weeks
and
ago,
there's been zero
she was
questions
considered to
so
be
far.
a failed vice president and a failed administration, a disaster. And now all of these people are talking about her like she's Margaret Thatcher, liberal version. She's not smart. I don't believe she loves our country. And we cannot have our country destroyed, because once that happens,
Well, someone's
got to
coach
come
Trump.
back. Okay? If
How
you'd
does
like,
she
we can
go
ask a
up
few
more than
questions.
me in
Yeah,
approval
please.
rating? Oh, not this again. Wait, I can't even hear the question.
Yeah. The last time I saw him was at Mar-a-Lago.
This is the same thing
And
that
he
happened during
came
the
with
last
his
one.
wife and a large group of people. And we had a very good relationship with him and with Israel. Again, this would never have happened. October 7th would have never happened, would have never, ever happened. And he asked for the meeting. We had the meeting. It was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. And I expect I might be talking to him, but I haven't since then. No. No, I didn't encourage him. No, he knows what he's doing. I did encourage him to get this over with. You want to get it over with. It has to get over with fast. But have victory, get your victory, and get it over with. It has to stop. The killing has to stop. Yes, please, behind you. Thank you.
He's got a fly on his tie. Dude, this is... I can't even hear it.
So, I don't know if you heard the question. You've spoken about God saving your life. That I've spoken passionately about it. And something happened because that was a miracle. I never looked that way. The audience was massive and it was in front of me. I never have that particular graph. That was a graph on, as you all know now, that it's very, I think everyone knows it very well, but it showed the great numbers on illegal immigration. It was the lowest point we've ever had. And it was one that I use less than 20% of the time. It's always at the end of the speech, not at the beginning of the speech. And it's always on the left side, not the right side. And yet, for some reason, I called it. It's not on a teleprompter. I do things largely without a teleprompter, frankly, because it's hard to hold an audience if you're going to go for an hour and a half or 2 hours reading a script. And I just talked about it, and I moved to my right, turned sharply to my right, ping. And if I didn't do that, I'm not here with you. So, yeah, God has something to do with it. It's a miracle, and God had something to do with it. And maybe it's we want to save the world. This world is going down. This world is going down. So it could be. But I believe that. I believe that my sons are very good shooters.
The ivermectin.
They're like scratch golfers, better.
Joe Rogan?
Speaker with shooters, great shooters. And Eric and Don both told me from 130
No mics for press.
yards.
I know
said,
that. I think
that's
Trump
pretty far
realized
away,
it, and he has
isn't
to
it?
repeat
said,
the
no,
question.
that's like a 1-foot putt with, weapons like the one being used. Plus, he was a good shooter. This guy was a good shooter. He went to the range and shot a lot, and he was supposed to be a pretty
Hostile
good shooter.
questions. I'm sure
They
there
said
will
a bad
be.
shooter would hit the target almost 100%
Dang,
of
Trump.
the time.
Dang, I look tremendous.
So something happened. And I have to say the Secret Service sniper did an amazing job. He had 5 seconds to find the target and hit the target, and he hit the target within, think of this, 5 seconds. And he was much further away because he was over here. And this
I mean, I
other
don't know if they did an
person was
amazing
over
job. They
there.
let him shoot.
So you have to give credit. And I have to also say about the Secret Service, when I was hit, I knew it because when I touched, there was blood pouring all over my hand. I said, I guess I know what that is. And I was going down for protection. And they were screaming, get down, get down. There was bullets. And those Secret Service guys were, and person, Kate, they were on top of me in a matter of, I think, 3 seconds. It was timed at. And bullets were coming out. I would hear the bullet. I didn't realize you could hear it, but now I know very well. Those bullets were going right over my head. They were there and very brave. There was nobody that said, I'm not going to be going there. They just, they were there very quickly, and they were very brave. There were mistakes made, obviously. He shouldn't have been up there. The roof should have been taken care of, and there were mistakes made. There's no question about it. But there was a lot of bravery also. We have to remember that. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Brian? Yeah.
There's no
It
microphones.
reached a record. Credit card debt. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say my message to them, so he said, credit card debt is at the all-time high. It's never been like this. What's your message to America?
Trump has
How
to
we're gonna
repeat the
solve that,
question,
and what will they
'cause he
do?
knows
You know
that people
what I think
can't
they
hear.
should do? They should, on November 5th or sooner, if it's early voting, which largely it is, which is ridiculous. We should have one-day voting, paper ballots. We should have voter ID, and we should have proof of citizenship, because people are voting and people are going on now without citizenship. But we should do it, and maybe we'll be able to get that done too. It's one of the things I want to do. But my message to them would be very simple: vote for Trump, and we're going to fix the
They
problem.
might release 9/11 stuff.
We'll get it fixed. Yes, Brian.
That just came out. I heard Trump said he was going to do it, but that's what all presidents say,
Yeah.
or all people running for president say.
So she is saying when she gets in, she's in now. And especially with Biden, because, I mean, he's not in the best of shape. But you know what? She's in there now.
They don't care.
She can
They're
do
done
anything
with
she
Biden.
wants. And she's still saying, if you elect me, I'll do this, I'll do... Why didn't she do it? Here's my one question. It's the easiest question. Because she complains about everything. Why didn't she do it? That's all I ask. On day one,
complains
we're
about her
going
own
to drill, baby,
administration.
drill, and we're going to close the border, and we're going to let people come in, but they're going to come in legally. They're going to come into our country legally. But on day one, we're going to do many things. You know, I can do a lot of things at one time. But the question's often is, what's the first thing you're going to do? I would say
I know.
we
I
have a
saw
tie.
Bernie Sanders say that.
We're going to close the border. We're not going to we're going to stop the millions
There's
of
going to be
people
mail-in
coming
ballots,
in, and we're going to
unfortunately.
take all of the criminals that have come in, and we know every one of them. I know. And the local police know better than anybody else. They're going to work with us. I've spoken to a lot of the sheriffs, every police, virtually every law enforcement group in America has endorsed Trump. I don't think anybody's endorsed Kamala. Not one. I don't think anybody's endorsed him. And you know that better than anybody. In Florida, all over California, they've endorsed me. We have the relationship I have with law enforcement. And these are great people, and people that we have to really cherish and respect and let them do their job and protect them. And you'll always have a bad apple in everything. You have bad apples as reporters. That I can tell you many. I'd say about 80%. But you're always going to have bad apples. But you have very, very few when you look at it. Very, very few. You have to let them do their job. You have to protect them. But basically, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy prices down almost immediately, and we're going to close the border.
Yeah, you can forget
and we're
about
gonna
trying to get
the
answers
crooked
for
ones out, bad
the
ones
shooting,
out.
man.
And we're going to let a lot of people come in, because we need more people, especially with AI coming and all of the different things. And the farmers need, everybody needs. But we're going to make sure that they're not murderers, killers, drug dealers, and the kind of people that we have largely coming in right now.
Early voting or election day? Probably election day, man.
Yeah. No, I think it's a sign of we want to close it out. We have great people. Susie is fantastic, as you know, and Chris is fantastic. They're leading it. Corey Lewandowski's coming in. He'll be, personal envoy, or he'll be at some level. They're going to be, they're doing a great job. Look, we've taken, with all of the abuse we've taken from the fake news media, all of this horrific abuse we take, and all I want to do is make the country good. All I want to do is have strong borders and good education. We want to have choice for education. So important. So many different things. You would think it would be the other way. We rebuilt the military. We did so many great things. But that's the way it's been for Republicans, and I guess more so for me than anybody in history, and that's okay. Because we're leading in the polls. For the most part, we're leading in the polls. We were leading Biden by a lot. We're leading now. But I think when she's exposed, I think we're going to beat her by a lot more than we would have beaten Biden by, because he had a little group of people that have been voting for him for a long time. She doesn't have that. People don't know who she is. As far as the personal attacks, I'm very angry at her because of what she's done to the country. I'm very angry at her that she'd weaponized the justice system against me and other people. Very angry at her. I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a
polls
lot
are
of respect
closer.
for her. I
You
don't have
could
a lot
argue
of
that
respect
Trump's still
for her
leading.
intelligence, and I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State, graduated in 2 years, at the top of his class, and all of these different things. And we have this guy that's running a very failed state, who's had a terrible career. I mean, you have him saying they're weird. No, he's a weird guy. And she's weird in her policy. Who wouldn't want to have strong borders? Who doesn't want to have lower
Why do they
taxes?
use the weird thing
all
like
my
it's
life
some
I've
big...
watched as politicians campaigned, and I've always been on,
The
for the
word
most part, on
weird,
the other
everybody
side,
uses it.
on the side that these people are on. And they always talked about, we're going to
Sentencing
reduce
will be delayed
taxes.
for Trump.
This is the
I
only
would
campaign
agree.
I've ever heard where they're saying, we're going to increase your taxes. And then people say they're going to vote for him? I don't know. So I don't think so. I don't think people know who she is yet. When people, because really people didn't know. You can ask the man on the street. I saw it on one of the shows today. They asked the man on the street, what's the last name of Kamala? Nobody knew. It's Harris. Nobody knew the last name. I don't even use it because nobody knows who I'm talking about. People don't know who she is. She's a
People don't say
radical
Harris.
left
He's right
socialist. But beyond that, I mean, she's way beyond socialism, who's going to destroy our country. And when they find out, I think you're going to see something. But right now, even not knowing her, and with all of the, like the cover of Time magazine, they didn't put a picture. They got a great artist to do it. What was that all about? You know, what was that all about? The whole thing is crazy. I just want to win for the country. Some people say, oh, why don't you be nice? But they're not nice to me. They want to put me in prison, you know, just so you understand. You know, they tell me I should be nice. They want to put me in prison. It's never happened before in the history of our country. I did nothing wrong. I have crooked judges. I have crooked prosecutors. And they're all Democrats, all Democrat areas, other than in Florida, where you had a brilliant judge who ruled in my favor. I won the case, the documents case, won it in its entirety. And Jack Smith, deranged Jack Smith, suffered a defeat. But in New York City, everything's clubhouse, everything. I know it very well. I grew up there. I know it very well. And we have a very crooked system, and it's one of the reasons
They're not
that
criticizing
New York is
his
dying.
24
Nobody
years,
wants to
but
come
you
in.
can't
No
lie
companies
about
want to
it.
come in because
That's the
the
problem.
courtroom system is so corrupt, both at a federal level and at a state level and a city level. And they put you into an area where you have 3% Republican vote. It's all a rigged deal, just like Fani, F-A-N-I, Fani, with her boyfriend. And I think that's been discredited, too. They've been discredited. But think of it. They don't want me to be a little bit nasty. They want to put me
RFK,
in
I think will
prison.
endorse
They want to
Trump.
it's never happened
Certainly not
before
going
in
to
the history of
endorse
our country.
Kamala.
It's happened in third world countries.
That's what he said.
But it's never happened here. And they're in danger because you create a precedent for doing that. And once that happens, that's a really bad thing. You know, in the years before, and I've said this a few times, not too much, but with Hillary, she was subpoenaed by Congress to give everything she's got, and she burned it, she acid washed it, bleach bit they call it. She totally scrubbed it, and then they broke everything with hammers, with fire, they burned it. And then she said, I don't have anything. Well, it turned out that she had a lot to give. And everybody said, lock her up, lock her up. And I used to go, easy, just easy, easy. Then we won. And I said, wouldn't it be terrible? And you know, I lose, some people are upset when I did this, but you have to look at it maybe differently now. I say, wouldn't it be terrible to put the wife of the president, former president of the United States, into a prison? Now think of that. Hillary Clinton, she was Secretary of State. She was the wife of a president of the United States who used to be a friend of mine before I ran for politics. He was a friend of mine.
RFK endorsement might be an October move.
I have a great golf course right next to the
I think
hall
RFK is going
in
to have to drop
Westchester.
out at some
He used to be
point.
there all the time. It was his favorite course.
He's not going to win an electoral
But you know
vote
what?
unless he just wants to do it
I could have done
symbolically,
that very
like
easily. She
keep
was
running.
so guilty. And I said to my people, wouldn't it be terrible to put, I don't know, wouldn't it be terrible to take, and we won the election, wouldn't it be terrible to take a former Secretary of State who was the wife of the President of the United States and put her into a prison? But that's what they want to do with me, and I did nothing wrong. It's all crooked politics and really crooked judges. You know I have a gag order. Do you know I can't even talk about it right now? Do you know that I have a judge who has a gag order? He doesn't want me to talk. And the reason he doesn't want me to talk is because what I say is so devastating and so horrible for him. But think of it. I have a gag order. There's never been a politician in history. I mean, probably for any politician for a city council office. I'm the leading candidate to be president. I won virtually unanimously, and I beat everybody. It was the quickest primary in history. There's never been one that was done so early.
You really think RFK will endorse
I had
a
people that were very
Republican?
talented
Yeah, he will.
people, and I beat
He's
them by
certainly not
45,
endorsing
50,
Harris.
60, 70, 80
I think
points.
that's a guarantee.
There
He's
was
not
never
gonna
a close
endorse Harris.
race. Nobody was even
He'll either
close.
run or just drop out and
Good
endorse
talent.
Trump.
They weren't close. And I'm running against the Democrats. So it's a two-party system, whether we like it or not. Republican, I'm the Republican, and I'm leading. But let's say I'm tied, but
I
I'm
think
leading.
Minnesota's probably gonna be
I believe
blue.
I'm leading by a lot more than people think, and I believe we'll be leading by a lot more. And I have a judge who put a gag order on me. So when you ask me a question, or when you ask me a question, I can't give you an answer, because if I give the answer, they want to put you in jail. He said, we'll put him in jail if he talks beyond the gag order. And this is in a state where, unfortunately, the laws have been very bad, and they haven't been upheld by the appellate divisions generally. Although I have one case where we a certain judge, I won't use names, but the Attorney General case, where we won 5 appeals on the same case, the most ever trial. It was a ridiculous, horrible decision where you have a very, very biased voting population, and a
Harris
judge
told
whose hatred
RFK
of Donald
she
Trump
didn't
was
want to
beyond
discuss.
belief.
Well, they lied and said that
And we
RFK
won the
asked
case, but he
to endorse
ruled
her,
a ridiculous amount of
and
money.
then he came
civil
out and said
case.
that never happened.
Ruled ridiculous. No, this is what they're doing is interference with an election. They want to interfere. Look at the one thing they want to sentence right before the election takes place. Let's sentence him. Because who's going to vote for him if we sentence him? Let's sentence him right before. No.
House arrest.
This is interference with a presidential election at a state level, and it's a state that always goes Democrat. It's interference, and as you know, the Supreme Court ruled recently on immunity, and I'm immune from all of the stuff that they charged me with. But isn't it a terrible thing? And yet Hillary Clinton, when it came time to make a decision, I said, I don't want to put the wife of the President of the United States in prison. I want the country to come together.
Have I done a
and to be
video on
unified.
predictions? I mean, I think a
And
lot
here
of
it is
my
a few
videos
years
include
later,
predictions,
And these
but I don't know if I've done an
people
official prediction
say,
recently.
let's put him, why? Because I challenge an election? Because I want to challenge an election? Or some other reason? It's a really disgraceful thing. It's a shame. And it's a very dangerous thing for both parties, because once they start
I got him
that
off a
ball
Chinese
rolling,
site, honestly.
once
The
they
Legos.
started
Yeah.
rolling, that's a nasty ball.
New
Yes,
Jersey's
please.
not going to go red, man.
Please. Sure. I think that we've done very well. I think that we're hitting a nerve. I think this is a different kind of a race. All we have to do is define our opponent as being a communist or a socialist or somebody that's going to destroy our country. I fought Nikki very hard. I beat her in her own state by legendary numbers. And I get along with her fine. I appreciate that she endorsed me and all of that.
Yeah, she really
No, I
fell in
think
line.
that,
My God.
I think
After
relatively
saying all
to
that,
what they're doing and how radical they
immediately.
are and how, in many ways, how sick they are, I think I'm doing a very calm campaign. I mean, we're here. There's no shouting.
When's his sentencing?
You'll say he ranted
I think September
and raved,
11th.
but not you. But
Sometime around
say he
September 11th.
ranted and raved. I didn't rant and rave. I'm a very calm person, believe it or not. If I wasn't, I probably wouldn't be around anymore, Probably wouldn't be around.
Hammer his
but no, I
policies
think
to the
I
media
appreciate her
instead of
advice.
entertaining personal questions.
I have to do it my way.
I think
I
he
ran
kinda does
against
that.
her, and I did it my way. People said I should.
I mean, he did
maybe
that.
Do it a
He
different
kind of
way,
spins
but
the questions.
I won in South Carolina by numbers that nobody's ever seen before. It wasn't
Eli,
even
what's up,
close.
man?
And I think she's a good woman. I'd love to have her support. Yeah, she gave me support, but I'd love to have her go around and campaign.
He's talking about Nikki Haley.
Well, not only responsible, they probably can't do it legally, and that will drive up prices. She wants no fracking. Now, she may go and change that. I think she's already changed it.
She's
But
already
she wants
said
to have no fracking.
she said
I
no.
want no
She's
fracking.
changed it.
But for her whole life, she said that. No fracking. Then about, I don't know when, a couple
Trump
of months
looks
ago,
good.
all
Yeah,
of a
for
sudden, when she started looking at
78-year-old.
polls. Remember this, she all of a sudden says fracking. I don't think I won Pennsylvania, and I did much better the second time. I won it in 2016, did much better the second time. I know Pennsylvania very well. I don't think there's any way in hell that somebody that's intelligent living in Pennsylvania is going to vote for somebody that basically
what's up,
will
man?
eventually end fracking, end fossil fuel. So whether it's Oklahoma or Texas or Pennsylvania, it's a big energy state. People don't realize that 350,000 people work in that industry. But maybe more importantly, they don't want to pay $9 a gallon for gasoline. So, no,
Dude,
I
Trump
think
cannot
that
get rid of that fly.
she's made statements. I don't know how you get out of it. I don't know how you can say for 10 years there'll be no fracking. I mean, we have tapes of her laughing at the stupidity of the question. Of course I'm not going to allow fracking. Then all of a sudden, a few months ago, she comes out in favor of, oh, yes, I'd allow fracking. I don't think anybody in Pennsylvania will be, I think she's going to do very badly in Pennsylvania. You have to frack. We need the energy, and Pennsylvania needs a job.
She's a horrible
Pennsylvania
fit
needs
for the
energy
Rust
also.
Belt.
That
And that's why they got
energy is
Waltz,
going
but
to
it's-
support our new system for AI and all of the other modern things that
How is
that
she gonna
need
win the Rust
massive
Belt?
amounts
Let's
of
be honest,
electricity
like-
and energy, massive. So it's a very good question, actually. But we have to unify as a country. We have to come together, and I think we can. You know, I get that question oftentimes, and I used to think maybe there's no way because, you know, some people want a border, some people don't want a border. Most people do want a border. But there's such a difference in people. But just before COVID coming out, so 3 years, we went a long period of time, and we had an economy going the likes of which no country had ever seen before. I think you would agree. There's never been anything like it. And people were coming together. People were calling me I would call them radical left, but I would say very liberal people, very progressive people. They came to me, we would like to get together. In fact, we worked out criminal justice reform. I was the only one that could have done that. I won criminal justice reform, and I got that for black leaders that came to see me. Criminal justice reform. Obama couldn't do it. Biden wouldn't even try. But nobody could do it. I got that done. And I got conservative votes to get it done. They needed at least 5 very conservative votes. It was very hard to do. I got that done. Our country was coming together. And, you know, I can tell you the story of criminal justice reform. When you do that, that means that's a big
RFK
step.
should put pressure on Kamala to debate.
But I was seeing people that were
Yeah, I mean, obviously she'll
not
deny
seeable.
it.
That I wouldn't want to see them, and they wouldn't
Will
want
it
to see
really
me.
embarrass her?
And
I
all
don't
of
know.
a sudden, we were having. I was
They'd be
having
like, "You're
lunch
at
with
1%,
people
we're not
that
gonna
if I
debate
told
you," or
who
whatever.
They were. You wouldn't even believe it. Our country was coming together. Success was bringing our country together, and it can be done. Success will bring our country together.
Yeah, Kamala
again.
did agree to a
It
second
can be
debate. You
done.
are right in October.
It was an amazing phenomena, and
But not
I used
but
to
not
say,
the Fox
I don't
News
know, it's
one.
awfully tough to get it together. I've never seen anything like it. Like, for instance, me getting criminal justice reform
NFL
done.
Future Show.
And I did that with
I wanna do
Democrats
fantasy
and
mock
some
drafts.
very
Or
conservative
fantasy drafts.
Republicans who said it's very unfair where people are staying in jail for 35, 40 years, and today they wouldn't even be charged with a crime for what they did. And we got it done, and I was very proud of it. But our country was coming together. The black population had the best numbers they've ever had on jobs, on income, on everything. The Hispanic population had the best numbers. Asian population, men, women, young people with diplomas from the best schools, Harvard, MIT, the Wharton School of Finance, they're all coming together. And everybody was happy. And young people without a high school diploma. The best MIT students and people without a diploma were all working. They were making more money than they've ever made. Every single, there wasn't
I
one
saw that
group
about
that wasn't
RG3.
doing
That was
better
out
than
of
it
left
was
field, man. That was
the
out
year
of left
before,
field.
2 years before, or 10
Trump
years.
loses the
It was the
election.
best our
Yeah, man,
country had
it's-
ever do, and we
I
were
think a lot of people are gonna
leapfrogging
be,
China.
not gonna be
China
very
didn't
good.
have a chance. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs from China. Hundreds of billions of dollars. No president ever took in 10 cents. And what happened was an amazing thing.
Chuck
We
Schumer,
had
the
a
cockroach.
great, successful country. and our country was unifying. It was
Best
the first time
photographs?
anyone
No,
seen
just
it when
regular,
our country was
just
unifying.
regular fantasy drafts. I'm surprised he hasn't talked about her not doing anything with
One
the
or 2
media.
points, yeah.
This is his
And
second.
Fox
This
News
is his
has
second
always
press conference
been
in a week.
My
I
West
think.
poll, believe it or not, and even Fox News had me up by 1 or 2 points yesterday. Came out, I think, 2 points, 1 point. I also think
Fox
I
had him
tend to
up
poll
1.
low. In some cases, really low. You know, in 2016, I was polling low because people didn't want to say who they're voting for. I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. And we did very well in 2016, and we did much better in 2020, much better, but bad things happened. Through COVID, very bad things happened, so we're not happy about that. Yes, I've seen you around a little bit, so go ahead, please. Thank you very much. Well, I want to get along with China. I had a great relationship with President
Do you
Xi.
think
We
the
made a
judge will sentence
fantastic
him on
trade deal,
September
$50
18th, or
billion
will Dems
of
push it?
farm
I
products
think they'll push
and
it back.
manufacturing products they had to
Yeah,
buy
they'll
here,
push it
and
back.
they were adhering to it. They don't
want any
anymore
part of it. They
because
tried to do the
they
felony
don't
thing, and it
respect
helped them.
Harris or Biden. But as you know, we signed a trade deal with China, and it was actually better than even the USMCA. It was a great trade deal. China had to buy $50 billion, not $15 billion, or not anything else, $50 billion, and it was a great trade deal. I think that that's one of the underrated things. I think we'll have a great relationship with China. I hope we're going to have a great relationship, but it's got to be a fair relationship. China was taking advantage of the country for years, but so was every other country, in all fairness to China. Every single country was taking advantage of the United States. I can't think of one country where we were doing better than them. Japan was taking, Abe was my dear friend, one of the great men, great leader, but all of these countries were, I used to say, who signs these agreements? It's amazing that we economically survived.
Forbes reporting Trump.
Because we
Dude,
had
that
such
fly is
bad
just.
negotiators,
Forbes reporting
or
Trump behind in swing states.
People were getting paid off.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely polls that have him
I actually looked at some
behind.
deals. I'd say nobody could be so stupid to sign a deal.
But there's
that's
also polls that have him
one-sided.
ahead, and there's
Whoever
also
made this
manipulation that's
deal
going on where they're waiting
has
to
been
release
paid off.
polls and
And then I'd look
the
into
way
it a
they're
little bit.
polling
yeah.
people. It's
and
all
all of a
through
sudden
the
he's
internet.
working
It's
as
all
an
through
agent
online.
for that country.
And it's a
3
higher
years
propensity
later, 5
to
years
vote
later.
liberal if it's online.
Now,
More
we
liberals do it
changed a lot
online.
of those deals. South Korea, we changed the South Korea deal. We made it from a horrible deal to a good deal. I changed the Japan deal. But I made a great deal with China. They had to buy $50 billion worth. They never bought anything like that. In fact, it was a misunderstanding. When I said the people were negotiating, what number are we talking about? They said 15. I thought they said 50. So when they came back to me, they said, sir, we're all set to get it going. I
You're a
said, good,
leftist,
what's the
but you
number?
think
15.
Kamala
I said, you
sucks
told me
and would be
50. Why are we
horrible
going
for the
down
world.
to 15?
I'm working class.
They said,
and
no,
fit.
we said
Trump would
15.
do
I said,
more
you told me
and
50.
help the
Actually,
needs. Yeah, well,
I
that's
heard
just,
them
it's
wrong.
not even just Kamala.
They
It's
said
just
15,
their
but I heard them wrong.
establishment.
So I said, go back and get 50, and we got 50.
They want to appease the
instead of
world.
15.
They really don't want.
And
if you say
it was
what, like,
great.
oh,
You
I
know,
want what's best for America, they say it's like
I really
it's like
think
racist.
that
I mean,
we can have a great relationship
how dare
with
you?
China. We can have a great relationship with a lot of countries that right now. One of the things with China, I know as much as any country, but all of the countries, the one thing is they have to respect you. If they don't respect you, and you know, I was very tough in countries like Japan, and yet Abe, who was a great man, assassinated, horribly assassinated. He was a great man. He was a great leader. But I believe, and I was very tough
there might be
on
a
him.
silent
I was very
Trump
tough
vote.
in
Well,
Russia.
there always is.
Russia, I was probably the toughest.
it
I
just
ended
depends how
Nord
much
Stream
how
2.
much there is.
I ended the biggest deal they've ever done, the biggest pipeline in the world, the biggest. All of Europe was going to be supplied by Russia, and I ended the deal. It was dead. And then Biden comes in and approves it. And they say, oh, I was nice to Russia. No, Putin actually said to me one time, you know, if you're supposed to be, like, friendly with me, I would hate like hell for you to be angry at me because you are brutal. Think of it. Not only that, the sanctions, but forget the sanctions. I ended Nord Stream 2. The pipeline was dead. And then Biden comes in, and he got $3.5 million, in all fairness, from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Remember that? During the debate, we brought it up, and Chris Wallace, who's not the father, he is not, there is no resemblance between him and Mike Wallace, that I can tell you. He said, you shouldn't be talking about that. I said, why not? They got the family, $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Why wouldn't I talk about that? He wouldn't let me talk. I said, I'm negotiating against two people, not one. I turned out to be right, because a year later, that was a big scandal. Why did he get $3.5 million? But Biden approved immediately the pipeline in Russia, Nord Stream, and he killed the Keystone XL pipeline, 48,000 jobs. He killed it. He did the exact opposite of what he should have done. Yes, please. I know you had your hand up. Nice to see you.
I mean, he is answering a lot of questions again. 538 doesn't count Rasmussen in their polling average.
Workers that are
well, they don't count a lot. They don't count a lot of. I mean, I don't know what happened to 538. They had Biden beating Trump.
Expand. In that case, they moved, as you know, they moved the company from California, Elon, from California to Texas, because they were able to get things that California wouldn't give. And I did ask him one question. You're moving a very big company out of California that's been there for years into Texas. Did the governor ever call you and say, like, let's work it out because we don't want to lose you? And he said he never called. Governor Newsom, he never called. And you would have thought, if I were governor of California,
I mean, the country is
Elon
doing bad in terms
anybody
of
else,
the cost
they have
of
oil
things with
companies
inflation.
Leaving, I would be calling. But no, Elon wants to run an efficient company.
As housing prices are terrible.
He got rid of a lot of people on X, or former Twitter. A lot of people gone, and it still works. It still works. So you got to run the company productively, and there are going to be a lot of jobs around. I want it so that a person doesn't get lucky and find a job.
Haven't watched much of this.
I want a person
Trump been good?
that could
well,
look
Trump,
for 10 jobs.
It's more like a rally slash. He spoke for like an hour
them,
before
and
taking questions, and it's just
much more than you get.
It seems like the campaign is stuck in between right now with the DNC coming up. So it's like a half rally, half press conference.
He's a strong guy. He's a brilliant guy. And he wants to get the best he can. And
but it did seem like he was rambling on towards the end.
He pays a lot of money to a lot of his workers. It's, to a certain extent, supply and demand. But ultimately, that's what's going to lead to a great country. So.
Knock on Harris fracking, not doing press conferences. How about not winning the primary? How about all the amnesty she wants to give the illegals, but she says she's going to have a strong border?
Well,
how does that make sense?
They weren't organizing.
Why would you give illegals amnesty if you don't want them in the country?
He let them go because he was having a lot of problems in California. They were making it impossible for him. In California, what they were doing with the taxes and everything were making it impossible for him. And Sean O'Brien's a great guy from the Teamsters you're talking. Yeah, Sean is great. I think Sean would understand it better than anybody. Don't forget, the unions are really threatened by what's coming in, by these millions and millions of people coming in. Sean O'Brien understands that.
What did I think of Omar?
The black population is
that's a joke that she won, dude.
The Hispanic population
she admits she hates white dudes.
Absolutely threatened.
That's what she says.
Because these people are coming in, they're going to take their jobs.
I know people said it was rigged or whatever. I saw that because the vote count was weird.
Very dangerous, very bad thing. No, just the opposite. I wish I didn't have to do this. If our country were run by Democrats and it was run beautifully, where we were really being productive and everything else, I would have never done this. I wouldn't have done it if
I agree. This is very strange
I think I can win easily.
It's two of these exact same press conferences in a week. Why not go to Pennsylvania or something? He is going to Pennsylvania, I know.
She's going to
go to
ruin
Michigan
our country.
And then go to Pennsylvania.
And I just hope the people of our country, and I believe they are because I see it already happening, but I hope they are able to think for themselves, because if they think for themselves, if they look at the destruction that's going to be caused by Kamala.
Yeah, man, I saw you're sponsoring a poll.
Nowhere he came, out of nowhere, a state that
Do you know what state you're doing?
But a state that's doing so poorly, where he's the one that signed in tampons.
No, you can't hear the questions. You're right. He has to repeat them.
He signed a bill that boys' bathrooms, all boys' bathrooms in Minnesota will have tampons. And what's going on? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us as a country? So no, I would, if we had somebody doing a phenomenal job,
Vance
I would
really
be
needs to make
extremely
Waltz
happy.
answer that.
What I want to do is,
Why
I want to
did
see,
you
even the last
agree
few
and
months,
allow
I
that?
hope the country
That
does
is
really well, even
fucking
though it would make it
disgusting.
probably a little bit harder to win. I hope the country does really well. It's country first. I want our country to do great. If they were great leaders, I would be the first to say they're doing a fantastic job. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that'll be that. Looks like he spoke for about hour 15. He came in about 15 minutes
What?
late.
Do I regret debating Biden? So it was his request. He said we should get the debates on early, and I was willing. Don't forget, I got CNN,
Yeah, he should have waited
I
on the
got
debates. He should have waited.
Jake Tapper, and Dana Bash.
Doing the Rust
They're
Belt.
not
Yeah, dude,
Trump
the Rust
people.
Belt is
They
that
wanted
is
to
the
have a
election,
debate where
honestly.
their
But I mean,
mics
there
are
are
turned off
obviously
when
George
the
is
other
very
person's
important.
answering the question. They gave me every single thing that I couldn't approve, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So they got the debate on their terms. They got the network that they dreamt of. But that was really his decision. I had to decide whether or not I felt I wanted to debate him. And I think they didn't want to debate, but I agreed to every single thing. It was a debate where they said, we'll give him something that it'll be impossible for him to accept, and I accepted all the terms, other than when they had us sitting down at a desk, and I said, I think that makes us look bad. I don't want to sit down. Let's stand up. And they agreed to that. Other than that...
And CNN said that was false. It
we
was
gave
true.
them
It's because
CNN,
Biden can't
we gave them
stand.
Dana, and we give him Jake. And by the way, I have to say, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash were unbelievably straight and honest, and I give them a lot of credit for that. A lot
And I
of
think
people
it
are saying
helped
you couldn't have
that
a fair debate.
they
I
weren't
think we
allowed to
have that with
interrupt each
ABC.
other.
I
The
have some
moderators
people
were
at
allowed to.
ABC
It was
that
easier for
don't
them.
like me too much. I find it to be about the worst. George Slobodopoulos. I have a lot of people at ABC.
Did you guys see
that I find it to
Stephanopoulos
be
against
actually
Byron
the most
Donalds?
unfair
What a
of all the
nasty,
networks,
nasty dude.
and they want to do it on ABC.
I've never seen anyone that
whatever.
nasty.
You know,
That
I
was
don't
really
mind.
nasty.
The
What
question that you're
Stephanopoulos
asking,
did.
though, about whether or not the debate should have happened would have been a better question to ask of Joe Biden, because had he not done the debate, he would still be running for president, and people would be hiding him, just like they're hiding her right now. You know they're hiding her no different than him, because I believe she's
And they
grossly
brag about it.
incompetent.
They say it's good
And
strategy.
I don't think that when people hear what she has to say, they're going to buy it. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think now that's the last one. He's offering people cereal.
I know. I want him too. She's 100 years old. She wants my autograph. I think we should do it. What do you think?
He's giving out an autograph to a 100-year-old lady. You know, they always have Trump sign like dollar bills. That's what I've seen. A little bit boring, rumbling. I know, dude. It's like cut off. You need 15 minutes. Just cut off that rambling at the end. Cut off the rambling at the end. CNN has Harris up 8 in Texas. What if they had the balls to say that? That would be funny, man.
An incredible press conference. You talk about transparency.
All right, well, that's that. And then I guess I'll see if there's any reaction. I mean, liberals are just going to say he rambled on. That's what they're going to say. Today has been a massive W. Based on the polling, I would say the polling is looking better. The polling is looking better based on what it was. I mean, yeah, he's got all this cereal out, if you guys were wondering. What is that, like a dollhouse? Where's Biden? I think somebody was telling me Biden did an event today. Candace Owens trending. Tester trending. Tester's going to lose, thank God. Biden, Harris. Yeah, they're having a freaking military rally with our equipment. Oh, my God. Our military equipment is being used as a rally. The 14th key is Red Eagle, I think it was stuck up Harry Sisson's ass. They had to dig it out, the 14th key. Maybe they need a 15th key now. For the 15 minutes at the end, it's always best to keep things short. I know they need to tell Trump, just not the extra stuff. Where he starts talking about like electric trucks and stuff. But I mean, dude, does it really matter? The other person that was in the chat was right. It's just for sound bites. Like, who's going to watch this entire thing? He's just getting sound bites and then use it as propaganda. I mean, obviously there's a lot of filler stuff, but I don't think people are really going to watch it. It's, but I would just say it's better to, if you're going to make sound bites, do it with people behind you clapping and stuff at a rally, rather than doing 2 press conferences in the span of a week. But listen, it's great transparency. I mean, Trump is answering questions, I mean, from all media outlets, I think. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hear some of the people ask the questions, but yeah, Clinton led by a lot in pretty much all the Rust Belt states. Clinton led by, or had a better chance than Biden to win. I think mainly because they had been bitten by Clinton. That's why Biden was kind of down in terms of chance. Trump should use the military rally of... Dude, it's so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. Yeah, people are going to create clips, I'm guessing. Waltz's response to stolen valor. Well, dude, you already see how they're responding. And some dude in my chat was doing it who was a liberal. He said, oh, he served for 24 years. Vance only served for 4. And I said, it's not the amount you served. It's that you lied about, your rank and also deploying and the weapons, using the weapons in war. It's that fact. But he's going to say, I served for 24 years. I'm extremely, I'm extremely thankful, and all of that stuff. He's going to hammer down the point that he served for over 2 decades. And I think he's going to kind of sidestep the question. He's going to, because that's what he has going for him. He did serve a long time. But I think Waltz in general is, I don't know, man. They picked Waltz to try and make sure they could win some of the Rust Belt states. Like, how is Kamala going to win the Rust Belt states from California? There's just no way, man. If Kamala actually wins, especially the Rust Belt states, she was the most liberal person in 2019. That's just crazy. It's mind-blowing. What are opinion on the polls right now? Well, I mean, the polls are all over the place, man. There have been more positive polls, at least today, for Trump. And look, nobody can really... A lot of people are wondering, because obviously the polls are going to have a bias one way or another. Have the polls self-corrected themselves? Are they more accurate now? Are they still underestimating Trump? If we compare it to 2020 and 2016, Trump wins this election easily. The question is, have they just gotten better, or is it the same thing? If it is, then Trump's winning all these swing states because they're underestimating him like they did in 2016 and 2020. His service was honorable. It's the line. Yeah, I know, but he's going to talk about his service. That's how they sidestep it. Came back. It finally ended. What that press conference? Honestly, I think Trump's done longer than that. I mean, he talked for like an hour 15, I think. I thought it was going to be longer, honestly, because he started like 40 minutes straight of just not taking questions. But dude, with those Trump pressers, they got to give those people mics or something so we can hear what they're saying. I mean, like liberals wouldn't have a problem with that. Like, that's just a little thing. She's the most unfavorable VP ever. Yeah, she gained more an approval rating for doing nothing than Trump did for almost getting shot and standing up like a badass. But she gains more. And it's not even only that she gained more. They hide her and they admit it. And they're like, oh, we're not going to do anything. It's working. I mean, their campaign manager's like, it's working. Harris +2 Rust Belt polls. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if you compare it to 2016 and 2020, and also some of like, when you look at the demographics and like, some of the demographics make no sense. like white dudes. Trump's only like +7 in some of the polls. Trump is starting to turn Vance into a mini Trump. Well, I mean, Trump definitely picked Vance because he was a crass, he was like hard-nosed, and he's going to support Trump for sure. People have complained it wasn't a strategical pick, but later, dude, thanks for hosting. Yeah, no problem, man. Don't think she gained anything. What, in the polls? I actually haven't even looked at the poll. I haven't even looked at the just Trump versus Harris poll. I mean, they only have Harris +1. That's basically nothing, although that is with the new Rasmussen poll included. Hilarious. Biden withdrawals, and then it changes all of a sudden. Rasmussen video today said RFK endorsement of Trump would be... Yeah, no, they are right. It's going to be very minimal. That they are correct on that. People will overestimate that endorsement. It's just not going to matter much, but it'll still matter slightly, and that little bit might matter. Where's this narrative that anyone regrets the Vance pick? I've seen like several liberals say, "Are they going to replace Vance?" Like that's not even in the ether. They're not going to replace Vance. I don't know. These people are living in fantasy land. No one is discussing replacing Vance. Thoughts on Vance caught doing drag? No, that was a Halloween costume. Watched MSNBC. Definitely seemed like Trump. Yeah, they made it seem like it. No. I hear you. If you watch those shows, they'll be like, "Oh, Trump's gonna change." I mean, Trump would look absurdly weak if he changed. Media overhyped Kamala. She peaked. Yeah, no. I agree with you. I think she did peak too early. They had her peak really early. That's why Jack Posobiec said that she's gonna be installed as the president in September so she can get another boost and honeymoon period. But I don't think that's going to happen, honestly. Because, like, even if she gets installed as president, what does that really do? It's already such a joke anyways. They've given up on Biden now to the point where they're just like, dude, go do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care anymore. They've just completely given up on Biden. They don't care about his public appearances. They've just thrown him away. Because that's what happens when you have cogs in a system and one of them gets rotten. You don't tend to it and be nice. You just throw it away. It's a machine, and there's all these cogs to it. That's the Democratic Party. MSNBC, dude, MSNBC. I did not realize how left MSNBC was until I watched the RNC. And there's this Newsmax thing you can do, and you've got it's all on one screen. It's CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and then a few other ones. But dude, MSNBC was way more liberal than CNN. And CNN obviously was as well. I mean, they hate Trump, but MSNBC is a different level. A different level. It is crazy. During the RNC, they weren't even at the RNC because they were afraid they were going to get heckled. So they had like the RNC happening in the background, but it was just they were in front of a screen. The parts of the press conference that you got to watch were, yeah, I mean, it's a press conference, man. There's not going to be a ton of energy at it like there would be at a rally. And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it is great transparency. That's 2 press conferences now. But it's like we're playing under, it's different rules for Republicans. Like, you have to do everything, and they don't do a single thing, and now they brag about it. Taylor Swift will bump Harris +4. God damn. And then they use gimmicks because I thought they were like philosophical and they were the smart ones, yet they use gimmicks like Taylor Swift. I wonder if they actually will do something with Taylor Swift. Does anyone know, or does anyone have a guess on if they will seriously do something with Taylor Swift? How annoying would that be? CNN is moderate compared to... Yeah, I agree, man. Leonardo, if Harris somehow wins, America is donezo. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to leave. That's what liberals say, they're going to leave. Just like Mark Cuban said. But no. Remember when they said they were going to leave in 2016 and none of them did? I mean, obviously, I'm not going to leave the country. You know, if Harris wins, it's going to be very sad. It's going to be just bad, though. Rogan bump. What, he should go on Joe Rogan, you're saying? I wonder what would happen if he went on Rogan. Yeah, secretly a white guy for Harris. I mean, dude, and why are they obsessed with race? It's always got to be like white guy, gay people. It's all it's just strange. Has Harris reached out to you as a streamer? She has reached out. Well, no, she hasn't reached out to me, man. I am obviously not. I'm obviously not a liberal. She's gonna reach out. I'd say I think more. She reaches out more so to TikTok people. But I mean, and also just really big streamers, like really huge streamers. I doubt Taylor Swift will endorse, or she will a day before the election. Yeah, and have like a rally. That's what it would be. Thoughts on using job approval to predict the election? Oh, that's great news for Trump if that's true. That is great news for Trump because Trump's job approval in comparison to what happened in 2020, he would win all of these swing states for sure if you use job approval. Because look at Biden versus Kamala. Biden in 2020 was higher than, well, actually Kamala might, I mean, the way she's trending, her approval rating is going up. Would I rather watch CNN or MSNBC? CNN. Taylor Swift doesn't help Harris with men. I know, but dude, it's going to be all the girls that weren't going to vote. They're going to vote. But I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to give her the election, but it's just a pain in the ass. I support mainly left ideology, but I also support gun rights. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people like that in America. I can understand that. Trump on JRE podcast. Yeah, imagine Trump did the JRE podcast. Imagine Trump did the JRE podcast while the DNC was going on. That would definitely take. Maybe they should have saved the Elon interview for when the DNC was going on. That would have ruined their DNC. I've always been getting texts for Kamala from when I was a Democrat. Oh, you just got to unsubscribe then if that's like a campaign thing. Mike Pence isn't relevant. Yeah, no, I agree. Nice bowl cut. I never have a bowl cut. Gender divide in the election will be huge, but Taylor is virtually a non-factor. Yeah, she'll just pump up the young girls, like the 18-year-olds or the 19-year-olds, things like that. Describe each mainstream media network in one word. Well, listen, I do like CNN's graphics, I'm not going to lie. But CNN would be... It's really Fox, CNN, MSNBC. Those are the main ones. I mean, MSNBC... gone. just gone. Fox News... average. I mean, I think that's the main thought of Fox News, honestly. I don't really watch Fox News. Pence had the... Yeah, I mean, they got Pence for the voters and evangelicals. Harris can have the female vote. I'll take the male one and Hispanic one. Well, yeah, you're right on that, but just look at married people. Think about it. Married women vote Republican. Married men vote Republican. Single men vote Republican. Single women overwhelmingly vote Democrat. And that's how it's made up. Thoughts on The View being worse than MSNBC? The View is, dude, I wish people would just stop giving those women attention. I don't even freaking entertain it. I mean, Whoopi did admit she shits herself. She's like, yeah, I mean, Biden, this is how dumb they are in defending Biden. She's like, yeah, Biden shitted himself a few times. I do it too. It's all right. They're definitely going to do something with Taylor Swift. Yeah, when do they deploy it? That's the question. Venezuela. Well, it's good that you mentioned Venezuela, man. Did you see the policy that Kamala came out with? And I think she's going to talk about it tomorrow. She said she was going to talk about it. She's going to make the big bully corporations. You have to keep the prices under a certain amount. That's going to really be good for us. We're going to save money, guys. Morning Joe always cuts off his wife. Well, that woman, is she his wife? I thought she was just some dude. Morning Joe has her on a leash. And when she strays, she has like a collar on her and just pulls her back. Morning Joe is he's a hard ass. Dude, Morning Joe. Opinion, if Harris wins, well, listen, I know everyone says end of the world. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world unless unless the Harris administration does end up beckoning in World War III, then yes, she could have actually, there'd be some big problems. It just depends, man. I mean, I don't think it's going to be very good. Personally, whoever wins, I'm not that crazily invested into it. I know some people are. They're like, man, my life's over if X wins or Y wins, things like that. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously it's going to be, I prefer Trump to win for sure. I just think it scares me when it comes to the rights, taking the rights away. That's why Musk is so important, man. Musk buying X was so important. It's not even funny, dude. Imagine if X was still controlled by the left. Holy crap. Morning Joe is a psycho. Yeah, he's got that woman on a leash. Thoughts on Mark Cuban? Yeah, Cuban has white guilt. But Cuban's a billionaire. Why is Cuban telling white people who are middle-class citizens that we need to have DEI and we need to give up our jobs because we're white people? You're a billionaire. You need to shut up. Like, you're a billionaire. Of course, you're going to say that. This is what most of the billionaires do. They feel white guilt or just guilt in general because they have all this money. So then they have to tell other people that are their same race below them that we need to give stuff up. No, you're the billionaire. Of course you're going to say we need to give stuff up because you're rich. It's such a joke. It's like the whole DEI thing. Remember when Cuban got into an argument with Musk on DEI and then he said, no, DEI is not forcing you to hire. It's not a quota system. Yes, it is a quota system. Why would they install it? And then he's like, well, it's just to give people a chance. That doesn't make any sense. DEI is a quota system. And they had quotas in colleges. Musk is just massive, dude. Musk is, oh my god. The art on the wall. Which art's, dude, that's just like a cheap painting, I think, probably from Amazon. Maybe like $40, I don't know. I just try to put something up to, so it's not a blank wall. I'd rather have the Musk endorsements rather than Taylor Swift. Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, Musk is way more powerful. Why do Dems keep calling Vance weird? I mean, they don't have anything else, so I guess they do that. I mean, you can't give it oxygen. That's only going to incentivize them to continue doing it, to be honest. Do you like Breaking Points? Yeah, I mean, I really don't watch much Breaking Points anymore, honestly, man. I mean, I don't think Breaking Points is that bad. But sometimes they've got decent stuff. AI video with Trump and Musk dancing. Yeah, I did. I saw that. Trump posted it. It's crazy. They will never allow Musk to rescue astronauts. Yeah, they don't want him to be the hero. Dave Packman. I saw him on the Patrick Bet David podcast. I mean, no. This is he is a fucking idiot, Dave Packman. Remember, because I remember watching the podcast. This is what he said. He said this is the argument he was trying to make for Biden. It's so good that now the adversaries respect us. With Trump, all they did was laugh. And it's funny how you look back on it, it's the exact opposite. We were a complete laughingstock with Biden. Biden couldn't even talk, and they had to physically remove Biden because he was so old and he was going to lose. But he said, oh, Trump embarrassed the country so much. Now that we have Biden, oh, we're so respected now. It's the exact opposite. Of course it is. Biden can barely walk. You think anyone would take him seriously? Thoughts on other conservatives criticizing Trump campaign? Well, I mean, it's going to happen if Trump was up by a lot. He's not up by a lot anymore. So people are pissed off. Trump did not do many rallies recently. It's just easy to criticize those things if he's going to go down in the polls. People are not going to be happy about it. And also the lack of, the way they've handled the last 2 weeks, it's basically been just a free runway to the DNC rather than Trump doing things. And now Trump, he came out and did a press conference. These press conferences are just weird to me. I understand doing one, but I don't know about doing 2 press conferences. What is the difference between a Democrat? Oh, come on. Trump is pissed about the Durant. I didn't even hear that, man. I don't even think that was I think it was a Halloween costume, man. Yeah, no, VP is not important. It's just a talking point that people want to talk about because, it is a big pick, but when it comes to the election, you're right, it doesn't influence a lot. Both candidates picked a VP from 2. Yeah, you're right. It is interesting how that worked out. I mean, that's why I thought she was going to pick Shapiro, but, You have Trump up by 4 or 5 still. Yeah, I mean, that's... it's understandable Rasmussen has Trump up 4, so that is understandable. Nah, we're not, I would say let's just not let it get derailed. Let's just not let it get derailed. If I'm Trump, I'm focused on Virginia rather than Minnesota. Yeah, I agree. But we haven't gotten any polls out of Virginia, so it's hard to know. But you're right. I mean, with Youngkin there, maybe there's a chance. Some people say after the failed attempt, Trump was flooded with money so he could have his hands tied up more than before. I think the failed attempt definitely helped Trump. I mean, it was going to be successful, number one. They didn't intend for it to be a failure, that's for sure. And that is crazy, the assassination attempt, and they're still saying Trump's going to lose. I know, it's just like, that entire thing is a fever. I think it's a good move to move a press conference. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, you'd want to do 2 press conferences in a week. It is kind of weird. I was looking forward to Vance owning Kamala. Yeah, but that went out the window when Biden stepped down. There was no way he was going to debate her. Or she was going to accept a debate with him because she's now the nominee. Yeah, I know Virginia has paper ballots. That's why people are talking about it. Yeah, I did see what Biden said. Said he would beat the hell. He said, you know what our Project 2025 is? Beating the hell out of them. Minnesota primary was terrible for Republicans. Yeah, I don't think they're winning Minnesota. I don't think Waltz makes much of a difference, but I don't think they're winning it anyways. The approval showed Minnesota, New Mexico, and New Hampshire very close to flipping. I mean, I think New Mexico is going to be tough. I think New Hampshire could be easier. New Hampshire's really, it feels like New Hampshire's like an independent state. He's doing it to flex. Yeah, I mean, it is embarrassing for her not to do anything. To be honest with you guys, I do think she probably would have done something by now if she hadn't had this polling increase. She would have had to have done something if she was down by like, 2 or 3 in the, but like they're looking at this and they're saying we don't have to do anything. Now you can say, well, the polls are wrong, Trump's actually up, but they look at this stuff and I'm sure they've got internal polls, and if she's up, I mean, they're just going to continue to hide her. Their strategy is to hide her until after the DNC at least. Because there's no way she's going to do anything, any crazy media thing before the DNC. And then the DNC is just a puff piece rally, basically. Dark Brandon, I don't think he's going to come out. Biden is talking on Monday night. Apparently, that's what Trump said. But I did hear it also that he was going to be talking on Monday night. The worst night of the... You got to feel for him. There's been no recent Virginia polls. I will say that. There's been no recent polls that I've seen. Yeah, the new disease, I don't think... I don't know, dude. Who knows what's going to happen to it? Thoughts on this sketchy... yeah, I saw people complaining about that because the vote, there was 0% of the vote reported, and then a minute later, there was 95%. Dude, I don't know how people... I guess... Considering it's such a small area, she can win, but she admits she hates white men, and she wins. But so I don't know. She does hate the country as well, I'm sure, and she still wins. Yeah, the DNC is next week. Finally, Jesus, I thought it was going to be this week, but it's pretty far. What do I think about the Groyper war? Yeah, I think those... look. Obviously, Trump's campaign got a little bit stale. But most of those guys, they don't think Trump goes nearly hard enough anyways. Probably for them, it would be better if Harris won, because people would swing further in the opposite direction. I'm not even sure who they're talking to. How do you think the press conference went overall? I saw a lot of people in the comment section saying it was horrible, but they're typical anti-Trumpers. Yeah, no, they're going to say it dragged on. No, it did drag on for about 15 minutes. Trump came up and spoke for, honestly, it was supposed to be, he's supposed to take questions, but he spoke for a good 40 minutes, and he was kind of dragging it on, talking about, electric trucks and stuff. But then he took questions. It's typical. Listen, it's a press conference. It's more of a transparency thing than anything else. You reacting to the DNC? I don't know, man. That to be honest, that feels pretty boring. Maybe I'll react to Harris's speech. I don't know if I want to sit there for 2 hours. Because even the RNC is boring. They just these conventions, they're like political orgy sessions where they just all come together and all they do is just smile. They just, a bunch of old people get tickets there and they're all surrounding it, and they just smile and like wave little things, and then the actual talking's like 10% of it. They just all stand around for 90% of it. Or you remember when they wanted yeah, I mean, dude, those guys. I mean, I think for them it would probably be better if Harris won because they need such a big pendulum swing to the right, like that far right. It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take rights being taken away for the pendulum to swing that far to the right. Unweighted polls are Dem plus 20. I mean, some of them are. Spam caller. I agree with Fuentes says, but he wants zero immigration. Well, no, I do agree with that. We need zero immigration while we get what, but then we can start the immigration again. The problem is the demographics right now. Will I be watching the DNC? I mean, parts of it, I guess. Maybe the speeches, maybe Biden's speech. I mean, it is just, they just smile and stand in place for 90% of the time and there's nothing. I mean, all it is, really, it's more of an analysis thing. You just talk as they do nothing. I actually think there's a coordinated effort to troll, disparage Trump on live chats, other platforms. Really, I haven't seen that. I mean, maybe I haven't been on many live chats to see it. Some negative comments on the Hill during press conference, repeating ever so often. Well, that's interesting. I mean, dude, obviously people hate Trump, though. Let's be honest. We can't just say everything's AI. But if they're the exact same comments repeating over and over again, then yeah, that is interesting. Biden wrote like 97 executive orders during his first year to open the border and immigration. Well, no, yeah, and then they blame Trump when 3 years later everyone's already in. They're like, oh, sign this border bill. It has amnesty in it and everything. It's going to close the border. It's completely absurd. Spam caller may have been a pollster. You know what? Do pollsters show up as spam callers? That's interesting. But I mean, dude, I get spam callers like maybe twice a week at this point, I would say. I don't know what you guys get. I used to get them more often, and then... Is Pennsylvania really 50-50? I think Trump is a favorite in Pennsylvania right now, but it's not like he's a massive favorite. It just depends on what you value in terms of metrics. Like if you value... If you value comparing 2016, 2020, if you value popularity, favorability, then Trump's looking really good. YouTube should bring back dislikes. Well, there is an extension. You can see the dislikes. I mean, I think they're very accurate too. Or at least they're like 99% accurate. Dark Hillary at the TNC. Yeah, Hillary's going to take over, man. Hillary's going to steal the nomination. No, man, they're going with Kamala for sure. Pennsylvania's always close. There's no way it's gonna be anywhere like a blowout. Yeah, the thing with Europe is that's what Trump needs. Trump's honestly gonna have to start saying that. Like, look at what's happening in Europe. I mean, the UK. It's the stuff that I hear about the UK. I still don't know if I can believe it because it's so bad. YouTube hiding dislikes was stupid, but they had to hide how badly the Biden administration was ratioed. Yeah, no, that's really why they did it. It was because of that. That was back in 2021. They would have clips of Biden speaking, and it would just be a random news network, and it would have 5 likes and like 334 dislikes. And so that pushed it over the edge, and then they said, well, it's because of mental health, which makes no sense in terms of like, well, I mean, I guess technically Twitter kind of has the dislike button. It's ratio. That's their dislike button is a ratio. But I mean, Twitter does not have a dislike either. 2 counties in Pennsylvania really running up for Dems. 1 county is Philadelphia. Oh yeah, well that's like it. That's every swing state for the Democrats. They have like 4 total counties. All of the rest are red. Trump is a lock in Michigan. Well, I mean it's hard to say he's a lock in Michigan. I mean I understand you might live there and stuff, but that's you can't say that yet. They had Rogers down 7-10. Now all of a sudden it's 3. Yeah, no, I agree with you in terms of looking at primaries, and I was looking at some of the Senate polls as well. I think Republicans end up with 53 seats probably, just from what I was looking at. Maybe 54 if they can swing a victory where they're not favored. France is fucked. I know, but it's crazy. France was trending to the right too. But with France, it's only a matter of time with the liberal government. They're going to keep importing them. I mean, if they keep importing them, at a certain point, it's going to tip over like the UK. If Trump bring Europe, MSNBC will twist it and say that Trump is threatening civil war if he doesn't win. Yeah, if you compare it, I could see that. I just can't understand what's going on in Europe where people are getting jailed for emojis and saying stuff online. Trump is going to take the lead in Pennsylvania. I mean, it's very close. Remember when I went to Starbucks and they gypped me out on the whipped cream? Yeah, man, you know, my Starbucks journey is interesting. I did start going there, and dude, now I haven't been... Well, actually, no. I just don't get coffee anymore from there. I just can't do the caffeine anymore. It's weird. I used to have like 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I wouldn't even feel anything because my tolerance was so high. And now I can't even have 100 just because I just stopped. I mean, I used to work out and get so much caffeine, and when you stop... New pandemic in time for the election? God, I hope not, man. Jesus, the last thing we need is another one of it would kill. It would kill crypto and it would kill stock market. Didn't know I was live. Yeah, I was just watching like a Trump press conference he was having, that basically, and then I just didn't turn it off yet. If Sam Brown wins, yeah, Trump would be +7 if he wins. He's definitely not the favorite. Harris is going to win North Carolina. It would be surprising for sure, but it is a swing state. I mean, who is Rasmussen's main poll guy? I don't know. They do have a YouTube channel you can see. Josh Hawley. Yeah, from Missouri. He might try and run in 2028. You know, I've seen his like name be floated out there for 2028, but he's not known like by a national audience, I feel. Trump wins North Carolina by 4 or 6. Based on recent numbers, comparing it to 2020 and 2016, yes, North Carolina should be a little bit more of breathing room for Trump. Like 3.5, 4 or 5, you're right. Trump's winning North Carolina by 10. That's a little bit... I don't know about that one, man. 100 milligrams. You've had 800 so far. Yeah, man, you can get on those... I don't know if you're trolling me, but people can get on those hellish situations where you build up a tolerance and you could have like 700 or 800 milligrams easy just because your tolerance is so high. Coke or Pepsi? I mean, probably Coke. Root beer or Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. Kamala gives me 08 vibes. Well, I mean, did Obama refuse to answer any questions? Then you're right. Come on, man. I mean, definitely she tries to give this joyous thing. She's definitely, and I think Democrats think they can hold that over Trump. Like, oh, I'm younger, I'm joyous, I'm positive, everything like that. And that's the narrative they're going for. And then even Waltz is like the dumb idiot who's like, everyone loves him, he's happy, you know, yay. You can answer 2 + 2 is 4, and it's like a celebration. How are people still getting COVID? Well, there are still variants out there. I mean, it doesn't just go away, but now I think it's like the flu. And, I'd be genuinely shocked if North Carolina was anything other than 2 or 4 point. Yeah, you're probably right, like 3.5 point Trump victory. Because this is based off of everything Trump winning North Carolina in 2020 and 2016 with much worse overall numbers and worse approval. And even North Carolina, dude, Biden was winning North Carolina in the polls going into the election. Harris was as well. I mean, that's another state. $51.50 workout powders is an anxiety attack. I'm not even sure they could do that, dude. I thought the highest they could do was like 300. But yeah, they got a weird drink at like Panera Bread where it's like 300 and kids were drinking it and getting fucked up from it. Clooney and Beyonce, are you serious? Well, that wouldn't surprise me. No, Clooney's definitely going to be there. You know what, man? There's bets you can have on this when it comes to the DNC. Yeah, no one's going to announce that. Will Biden speak? 98% chance. Who will speak? Michelle Obama, 75% chance. Hunter Biden, 1% chance. They should really give Hunter a shot at speaking. I mean, they literally defend him all the time. Hillary, 99% chance. Obama speaking. Clooney. Listen, if you want good value on Clooney, imagine someone bets that. I mean, that's good value. Can't even do energy drinks anymore. Dude, really? You got to make your own, so you have to add more caffeine into it? Dude, I think if I were you, trust me, I've been addicted to stuff. I'm not trying to flex that I'm this disciplined person. I've had some issues and stuff. But if you got to make your own, man, I would say maybe it's time to hold off on it. Go a few days. I know it feels like you can't live without it, but then it gets better. New reports saying Harris proposing $25,000 down payment for first-time homeowners. Is that true? Is her stuff coming out finally? I think that, yeah, you're probably. I mean, her stuff is probably coming out. I mean, it'll be fun to see who's going to pay for that, but of course it'll be billionaires who pay for it. You're right. Trump may lose Florida, according to MS. I know, that was the narrative. It was like, oh, Florida's getting close. Will be an event that triggers alt season. It's going to be Bitcoin going to the moon. That's what's going to trigger alt season. Alt season comes after Bitcoin. Hopefully Bitcoin goes 90K or 100K at least, and then alt season will come. But, I mean, really, something triggers Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin triggers alt season. Harris is Romney 2.0, hype, but overall weak candidate. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't even know her candidacy right now. She just hasn't done anything. My Son Hunter. What a movie. You're a Biden. Act like it. Yeah. Will Taylor Swift attend the DNC? 12% chance. Will Taylor Swift endorse Kamala Harris? 89% chance. Protein shakes can be bad for you. Really? I know. I used to have protein shakes maybe like 3 years ago. Biden is going to leak things out about Kamala in October because he's not going to do that, dude. Biden's weak. I know Biden's probably pissed off, but I would be shocked if Biden did that, honestly. He's just going to fall in line. I didn't believe 50% of the U.S. are 60 IQ. Well, I mean, I know you're joking, but they're not 60 IQ. They just, a lot of liberals buy into like the whole guilt thing. Like, we have to give back. We feel guilty. We must give up for the greater good of the people. Missouri is a swing state. That reminds me of them saying Kansas was a swing state. Trump wins Florida by 10, 8-10, I would say. Looking more like plus 15 in Florida for Trump. I think that's a little rich, plus 15. I know DeSantis got 20, but that's a little bit of a different situation. But I could see Trump 10 or 11 in Florida. I don't think that's far-fetched. I think that's realistic. Like if I had to put a number right now, it would be like 9.8 or something. I had to put down $80K on your house 3 months ago. Who is going to pay you? Well, it's just like student loans. They'll pay you. They'll pay it to you if you'll vote for them. Florida and Texas. By the way, what happened to the student loans thing? That's been quiet. Are they still trying to pay people back? Or did it get deemed illegal? Hey, what's up, bro? Florida and Texas could go red by 10 points on election night. People are going to be celebrating prematurely because they aren't representative of the average swing state. Yeah, no, you're right. They're not swing states. They're definitely not swing states this election cycle. I bet the Biden appearance at the DNC will be pre-recorded. What are the chances he stands on the stage? I think he's actually going to do that, but I just don't know how long he's going to do it. Election stolen in 2020. Trump nearly assassinated. Trump thrown in jail. Trump campaign hacked. See the leaks. Prepare for a 2024 election to be stolen. Well, look, they did manipulate the election. You're right with the Hunter Biden story. I mean, that's admitted. And that's really what Trump needs to be talking about. You can talk about all the ballots and the mail-ins, but we have proof that they manipulated the election by removing an actual October surprise when they had they had nothing. Richfield Coliseum. Oh, that, yeah, I think I talked about that once during a video in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see them build another one of those. It was just like a box. It was like a concrete box, but it's kind of cool that it was where it was located. How do you think Texas, and it had like the old-fashioned interior, how do you think Texas is going? I would say Trump plus 10. Yeah, I would say Trump plus 8 to plus 10 right now. That would be a prediction. If I had to give like an actual, it would be around, because there is things that you can look up, I know that, where it'll kind of tell you. I don't know what that thing was. What is it, JKS maybe? JKS election predictions or something. I don't know what it was. It must be something else. It would show up. I know that the other one that I don't think it's even updated, the Economist. That's the one I normally follow, and they didn't even update it after Biden left. It's a joke. You live in Florida and you'll say Trump wins. Yeah, that's a fair prediction. 7 to 9 points is fair. Abortion is on the ballot. Florida will be closer than 2020. 2020? No. Florida has swung crazy, bro. Crazy. And Trump won, I think, by 3.2 in Florida in 2020. $51.50 at 513 milligrams stem caffeine. That's a mess, dude. That's, yeah, like 18-year-olds take that. I hate when people say Texas could flip blue. Well, they don't really say it anymore. They said it in like 2016, I think. They really didn't say it in 2020, though. 150 protest groups. 150 different protest groups? Jesus, man. I wonder how they're going to get that under control. How many people is that going to be? Yeah, I think Ted Cruz wins. Yeah. Do you think the New York Jets will win the division? I honestly, I hope the Jets win the division just because they've been so bad, and Rodgers could be his last year, one of his last years. It wasn't rigged. Well, I mean, listen, you can say it's not rigged, but you have to say it's manipulated. It was manipulated by big tech. That's admitted. Yeah, abortion is a state's issue. That's all it is. You didn't. I mean, people act like everyone got their rights taken away. But listen, that Roe v. Wade was obviously, in terms of conservatives, the electorate was not good for the electorate. Let's just say that. Florida is more, and that's why Trump's distanced himself. He was bragging about it, but now he's distancing himself and saying it's a state issue because it would have been bad. Florida is more likely to go for Trump by 17 than it is to be closer than 2020. Pro-abortion Trump voters exist. Yeah, and also, dude, even if you want to talk about abortion, there's just way, way too many conservatives in Florida now. It's just an avalanche. I mean, DeSantis wins it by 20 points. "2016 was also manipulated." Well, no, that's not even close to the same. Where they colluded and censored an October surprise. I mean, that's different. 2020 was ridiculously close, and a lot of liberals thought they were cheated. You hope Fetterman is the presidential nominee in 2028. You want to know something interesting I saw about Fetterman? He's got an approval rating plus 11. Isn't that crazy? Fetterman has an approval rating, maybe it was just one poll I saw, of plus 11. Bernie Moreno, it just depends on what happens with Trump. Trump, if he wins Ohio by 10 points, there's no way Moreno's losing. Moreno wins by 3.5, 4. If Trump wins like he did in 2016, 2020, where it's 8 points, I still don't think he's going to lose, because that would be a lot of people. I mean, there's going to be, because you have to understand, Brown, his last election was 2018, so he didn't have to go up against during a Trump election where there's so many more people that go for Trump and they just down ballot vote. He's going to get screwed by the down ballot vote and the Trump effect. How odd we don't see Jill anymore. Well, I mean, she's irrelevant. I mean, she always was irrelevant, but I mean, why do you think Jill wanted to stay in the White House? That exact reason. You're saying we don't see her anymore. Yeah, Moreno, that's a good call. Moreno will win by a few. Moreno, I think, is only down by an average of like 3.5, 4, or something like that. But again, you're talking about a different, from when Brown won in 2018 by like 7 or whatever, it's completely different with Trump on the ballot. It's completely different. Love your channel, but wish you could pause the video when you speak. It's hard to hear you and Trump at the same time. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do like reactions like this, because it just doesn't make sense, because I'm like trying to talk, but I really can't talk because I'll just talk over Trump. I mean, debates are one thing, you could do the debates, but you're right. It is just kind of I'm trying to like find a way to talk, but you really can't, because Trump just never stops, because it's like a press conference or whatever. Do you think Trump will go to prison? I don't think so, man. I think they'll push it back. I think it's in everyone's best interest to push it back, including Democrats. Did you see the rumors Trump will be sentenced to jail time? I have not seen. I mean, listen, chat's been telling me about it. I just thought it was normal conversation. Is there actual rumors? But even if there are rumors, it doesn't really. It's interesting. I think it would help Trump, I would guess, but that would be crazy. Ohio's huge swing state and will be the decider. It's not going to be the decider, man. Kamala rally would be easy. You could talk during the applauses. It might actually be harder because the applauses are really loud, and then talking over that. Do I watch UFC? I do not, man. If they try that, yeah, I don't think they're not going to imprison Trump, man. There's no way. I'm sure they want to keep that in the news, like it's the narrative that's. Yeah, look at this. It's a dollhouse. What in the? Another Montana poll. Yeah, Trump going to Montana. Oh, wow. Dude, that's such a bullshit poll. There's no way. There's no way that she's losing by 5, but Trump's winning by 18. I think a lot of that is there's when they call people, a lot of it is people that previously donated, so it's more politically savvy people. When you send people to the polls, a lot of them just vote down ballot. As long as Trump wins Montana by 17-18, he should be good. I like how you answer so many questions from randoms. Yeah, and then trolls still give me shit. It's like, dude, I mean, seriously, how many YouTubers are gonna do this? And people come in and they try and troll me, and I'm just done with it. Could Democrats push for sentencing to October for an October surprise? But what would be the surprise? I mean, maybe the unknown of what would happen to Trump. But do they really have control of when the sentencing gets pushed back to? Rasmussen had something, electoral power on each state. Yeah, no, there are metrics like that. I was going to do a video, maybe I'll do it tonight, a video ranking every state from least important to most important. I mean, technically it's like an easy video. Like, we all know the most important states. But I do think you could argue that Georgia might be number 2. I mean, if you just go through all the swing states, the most important one is the one with the most electoral votes. That's just what it comes down to. The election was not stolen. I love Ginger's 9/11 videos and sports videos. He is really good and really does his homework, but the politics live in a right-wing bubble. Well, yeah, no, I agree with the bubble talk. We all live in a different bubble. The problem is when liberals come in and troll and they just say 500 things, it's a mess. But let me just say, you can say the election wasn't stolen, that's fine, but you do admit it was manipulated, right, by big tech. I mean that's what happened. But no, you seem like a good person. It's not, I understand. October surprise is Biden getting sick and stepping down for Kamala. Yeah, I know. That's what Jack Posobiec said. He said that she's going to get another honeymoon. And I talked about this earlier in the live stream. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? How do you feel, Mr. Trump? Do you feel Mr. Trump can trust Ted Cruz? Your opinion about Ted Cruz in general? I like Ted. In 2016, they went at it. Ted's had some good moments on the floor, arguing. It's been fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, Ted's just your typical conservative. I think he'll definitely win this year. I don't think Trump's going to jail, man. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. There's talk about it or something. Oh, we got Alien Romulus. That's from April 14th. How does that get in there? So it comes from this? Multiple high-level sources have stated the New York NYC Department of Correction is making arrangements for Donald J. Trump to arrive at Rikers Island in September. President Trump... See, come on, guys. I mean, how are you going to get this scoop? I don't know about that, man. I'm fearful after Trump wins the election, Democrats will try a few assassination attempts. You never know, man. I mean, they've already tried a lot, let's just say that. I mean, you want to talk about an assassination attempt where they just let the kid go through. How does the kid... I mean, that's the other thing that they were talking about. How does he know how to make bombs and everything? It's just... we're never going to hear the story on that. There's no way. I asked if you were getting a crib because I thought your old life update dating videos are funny. Yeah, I stopped doing those because... I mean, it is embarrassing. And Trump would demand a recount on what? If you believe the CIA is behind the attempt on Trump, jail is a very easy way to get him. Yeah, like they did with Epstein. Yeah. I mean, but the Epstein thing was so obvious, it was almost comical. Even liberals say that. I mean, I think it is demoralizing with crooks. There's just never going to be an update on that. Did you end up seeing the video of the Secret Service backing into the salon? Yeah, those people are just, they're not qualified. What about the video? Wait, you're talking about when they broke in to go to the bathroom? I mean, these people are just, oh my God. They break through a door to go to a bathroom. If Trump is put in jail, it's game over. Yeah, I mean, I think it would help Trump significantly, but they're not going to do that, man. Because they have this renewed thing where they think they can beat Trump now. I don't think they're going to do that. They would just complicate things so much, man. I mean, how much more shit do we need with with politics? Now you're going to put Trump in jail. Now we have to deal with that. Now he's running from jail. Now he's a political prisoner, and he's unjustly put there. I am a Browns fan, yes. Why haven't they killed... She probably took a deal or something, honestly, Maxwell, to not talk. Yeah. I think there's a chance Kamala beats Trump in a blowout. Well, I mean, listen, it'd be very surprising, but, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a close election right now for sure. Trump even admitted he may go to jail. I think he wants to drum up the sympathy, honestly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does think he's going to go, but I think he wants like people to think, oh, look at what they're doing to me. I'm a political prisoner. That would be my thoughts on potentially what his strategy would be. Their internal metrics are bad. Whose internal metrics? Trump's or Harris? I know people are saying Harris needs to tone it down because the internal numbers aren't as good. Elon and Trump doing another space. Yeah, I mean, dude, the thing is, this is what I think personally. Let's understand this. You've got the DNC next week. If Elon and Trump would have just wait a week, and you could take away a lot of that shine from the DNC. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if they're going to do another one. Maybe before the election they will, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Browns should have given... I mean, the Browns have a mess, man, with the quarterback situation. Yeah, they kind of sold their soul, man. I don't know. For Watson, and Watson hasn't even been good. Trump dominated the conference. Well, I mean, he definitely did. He kind of just he was able to really put out his points and propaganda for sure. What are your channel plans after the election? I don't know, man. I guess it depends what happens. Normally I'll just go back to like different content, different niches like 9/11, and I mean, I am still going to do football predictions. Rasmussen is right-leaning. Well, no, I mean, they are not right-leaning in terms of their polling. Their polling history has been left-leaning. Even if Trump wins, the liberals won't certify. No, I know they said that. I don't believe that. I think they will certify it. That's just my opinion. I know the dude, that the representative said they wouldn't, and it's pathetic that he said that, but I think they will. Even Trump said it. I remember Trump saying that he thinks they will certify it because he was asked that directly. I think I saw that like 2 weeks ago or something. Am I going to do a video on the Memphis Tigers stadium renovations? I think I have done videos on that. It's just all packed into one. When I go over college football renovations, it's all together. You want a link to the Discord? Yeah, I'll get it to you right now, man. I'm gonna pin it, man. All right, it's pinned on top. Well, this is over. Dude, what the hell happened to this? Yeah, I might have just lost frames there. I probably lost frames with that. Fucking thing's a piece of shit. I really am gonna get... That's because I went to the other thing. Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. I know the political vids are doing well, but please keep college football vids all season. Yeah, man, I plan on doing the college football vids still, for sure. I mean, you know, the political vids are what they are. You know how it is. It's the time, really the only time to do these videos. I mean, I've got like it already is the middle of August, believe it or not. September, October, and then that's it. September, October, it's done. Good at statistics. Harris will never be on Fox. Yeah, no, I know. My evidence is... I mean, I do want to do a call-in. I do want to do a call-in. I don't know when I'm going to do it. But I'll do a call-in at some point for people to call in and talk to me. And hopefully I'll get through like 40 or 50. I mean, depending on how many people are there. 2. What's up, man? Eagles Patriots are on. Yeah, they seem to have all these. I remember doing a stream last week. People were talking about like the Hall of Fame game being on or something. I remember that was the week before. Carrie Lake needs to she needs to hang it up. You mean, yeah, Carrie Lake is... Listen, this is a situation where Trump needs to win by at least 4.5 or maybe like at least 4. At least 4. I mean, and that's even pushing it. Maybe she can eke out a victory. How did you find out you're so good on camera? Practice or not? Well, I mean, I've been doing this a while, honestly. And it just, you know, for me, the political videos are so easy, man. Like, I'm working way less than I would be if I was just doing my standard videos because there's no editing involved. You know, I had that one video where I had this just a horrible setup, and I still do have a crappy setup, but I just had to, like, I was just screen recording with my camera not even in the right spot, and the video gets 1 million views, and I'm like, holy shit, this is something completely different. Because no matter what stadium or NFL prediction video you do, there's no way it has a chance of even getting, like, 200K, let alone 1 million. So that's when I knew it was, like, a different beast. But the algorithm is very strange. I mean, I could do a video and I think, man, I think I hit on some points there. It gets 20K views. Then I'll do another one that's kind of just a throwaway on a crowd size because, my God, the crowd size videos do well and it gets like 700K. So it's weird how the algorithm rewards you and then it goes in cycles where you're getting views some days and you've got like 200K on a video, 300K, and then 2 days later you're at like 10K and 15K. The political videos have a mind of their own. Pump the like. Why only 3 likes? There's no way I only have 3 likes. It might be glitched or something. I mean, that seems like it would be impossible. Am I more of a believer in Washington or Baylor? You're talking about football? That's actually a good question. They're similar I mean, Baylor has an easier schedule. Washington's the better program. So it's hard. I mean, maybe Baylor. What stunt do you think they're going to pull at the DNC? CNN has been weird calling out Harris's campaign. Yeah, CNN finally started calling out their campaign. I think they're going to have a drag queen on, honestly. That's probably what they're going to do, and people are going to be that's going to be a bad thing for them if they do that. But they're going to have George Clooney on. He's going to be out there talking Obama. They're all friends. Let's hope Trump wins the swing states. Well, yeah, that's the election. Is Kamala the favorite now? In terms of, yeah, no, she is the favorite in terms of betting. I haven't seen it recently. The last time I saw it, it was 52-45. Oh my God, it's 54-44. I mean, not that it matters, but Jonathan, thank you. The euro is worth more now. Remember when the dollar passed it there and became worth more? But no, that's about $2 and $2.70, maybe $2.65. You had to refresh. Well, normally it's supposed to update automatically. The likes are. I don't know. They hide Kamala more than Biden. Yeah, well, Biden's situation was he was forced to come out and do stuff because, I mean, like, they thought he was cognitively dead. So he's like, oh, I'm all right. I'm coming out. I'm doing something. Colbert calling. Yeah, no, that was an amazing quote, dude. It was an amazing thing because Colbert was trying to do it, or Colbert was trying to do it and be like, oh, they're actually objective. And then when the crowd started laughing, you could see he almost voice cracked, and he was like, oh no. He's like, oh no, I'm being honest. And then Caitlin Collins is like, is that supposed to be a joke? And he's like, no, it wasn't supposed to be what it is. Man, I got to get this removed or something. This pimple. It's like one of those pimples that never gets red, and it's very small, but it just hurts. It might be an ingrown hair or something. Will literally ruin everything possible, but then every 5 to 10 years, Clooney will walk and spew some. Well, no, Candyman, it's actually worse than that because they've admitted the last 3 years have been terrible, but don't worry, they've replaced the former president who they gaslighted us into thinking was, you know, this amazing leader. I mean, they said that he was like the best president, I mean, in like years. That's what they were saying. So it's even worse than that. They're like, all right, well, Biden's going to lose, but guys, don't worry. We know Biden has an approval rating of -30. I'm exaggerating, but still, it's okay. We're replacing him with someone that doesn't even talk. Kamala won't lose. Democrats have too much practice. Yeah, I mean, they do unite around a candidate. You are right on that, for sure. And definitely this was their whole little thing that they could do and come together on. It's like the literal robot chip, just like Elon Musk tweeted out. Insert the chip, insert. It's a USB. Now it's the Kamala chip. Now it's Gretchen Whitmer. It doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, I mean, Florida's not going to be competitive, man. What would you make out? Would you make out with Pelosi if it meant Trump got 400 electoral votes? My God. I mean, how long? Do you think the ticket splitting will be enough? Oh. I think it depends on Trump's overall impact. Normally, Trump can get a lot of people that don't come out for the midterms to just down ballot bot vote, where they'll just vote for Republican, just Republican the whole way. See, they changed this a little bit, unfortunately. Yeah, so the Senate, I mean, Republicans are already going to get 50 because they're going to win those three that they're favored in. And then I think Montana is another one. That's 51. Arizona, probably not. Probably not Nevada, but maybe Nevada, maybe. It's unlikely, though, I think. Ohio, I think. Montana, Ohio. These three, probably not, honestly. The three Rust Belts, it's going to be hard. Maybe 53, I'd say. Do we know what the Dem excuse will be if they lose? It'll be something with, I don't know if it'll be Russia. I don't think they can use Russia again, but they'll use probably someone else helping Trump. DNC is going to have Taylor Swift. You're just saying random shit, man. Do you think Pelosi or Chuck Schumer's skin smells worse? Well, Schumer is a cockroach. Schumer looks like a rat. He has the build of a rat with how he moves. He's like got this build like a rat, and he was like going around like he's like this, and he's going around New York City, and then this dude from the Dominican is like, you know, people from the Dominican, we hate you, and then he just kept walking. he's like. DNC is gonna have a lot. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a mess. The DNC. All right, guys, I'm going to see Alien Romulus. No, I'm kidding. But I am going to be getting off. This is kind of a weird time, honestly. Normally I don't stream, so I don't know. So it's only 7 o'clock. But so normally I've been putting out a video now at night. The videos at night do tend to do well. I guess most people are in different time zones. Like, you catch people in California and stuff, it's easier. Because I put a video at like 9 o'clock Eastern and it'll do well. You think Republicans gets 52? Yeah, 53 is aggressive. I think Brown has a chance, even though, dude, there was a, no, was that a recent poll? Hold on. Okay, that was not where Brown was. Where was that one poll? I mean, there was a recent poll. Wow, they don't even have the recent poll that had Kari Lake tied. I mean, it's gonna be hard for Kari Lake to win. Trump needs to win by 4.5, maybe 4. If you're from Germany, it's got to be like 1 a.m. there. Yeah, it's 1:24. Dude, that FSU game is that line keeps coming down. It keeps coming down. It's down to 10.5. DJU meltdown. Yeah, dude, honestly, I think FSU, they were 14.5 point. They might have been 16.5 point favorites. And it's come down to 10.5 now. DJU is, I like him, but it is kind of unstable in terms of just his play style. He'll throw some interceptions for sure. Steven Crowder going to be live fact-checking the DNC. I mean, but that's just a losing battle no matter what, I feel like. The fact-checkers and everything. Because they do that to Trump, too. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it is politics. People are just going to lie, no doubt. I mean, I've seen so much lying, and obviously it's both sides. There's no way. I mean, the Kamala HQ just constantly, they just lie, they lie. But I mean, there's conservative accounts that do that as well. I mean, I'm not saying there's not, but it's interesting to see how it's just constant half-truths, 1/4 truth, totally fake. I mean, what's with the RFK thing? What is really with the RFK thing? Because this is crazy. Oh, she was in Maryland. So this is the RFK thing. He comes out and puts this big statement out. It's like 5 small paragraphs, whatever. We just read that you went head in hand asking for a job with Kamala. And then he says fake news. And then he says, are you suing the Washington Post? Because Kennedy has a quote in here that he's basically says that I want to be part of her campaign. Oh, maybe it was not a quote, but there was someone from his administration. It's just very weird. I mean, did they just lie about RFK being in it? Newspaper portraying Donald with an Adolf statue on. Yeah, I mean they always compare him to Hitler. That's a common thing for them. Do you want RFK to drop out? I mean, I think he needs to drop out either way. You know, he just needs to drop out. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I mean, maybe a live stream tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be better just to do a normal live streamer. I mean, I do want to do fantasy drafts, but, you know, if anyone's interested in that, I do want to do it live, the drafts, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow or sometime. But make sure you follow me on X, and I'll probably be uploading another video tonight. Probably, I would guess, at like 9 or something. It might be on Trump going to jail. It might be... maybe I'll just do the video talking about the 50 states from least important to most important. It's fun to have a YouTube channel. You just ramble on about random shit, and it's just funny. But guys, that is going to do it for this video, or this live stream.